His wealthy family went bankrupt, and he's forced to pretend he's still rich. Afraid that his girlfriend will leave him, he spends all his money on her and discovers he has a magical power. All the money he spends on attractive, wealthy girls comes back to him 6 times over. Since then, he's become a womanizer, seducing wealthy girls in order to restore his family's status. I guarantee this will be an interesting story, so subscribe to the channel right now and give this video a like to show your appreciation for my efforts. Let's meet Shen Yuan, our main character who's living an easy life, driving his nice car with a smile that could buy a whole country. One day, he stops his red Ferrari on campus, getting as much attention as a main character arriving at the end of an anime. He barely gets out before everyone is snapping pictures of him and posting them online. Right then, the passenger side opens and a stunning girl appears, having quietly waited for the perfect time to make her entrance. Far off, a group of students look on with envy, saying that the new guy is already seen together with one of the famous girls at school. The boys keep repeating, "If you're both rich and handsome, it's unfair for getting the prettiest girls." Not caring about the stares or talk, the couple walks off arm in arm like they're starring in their own show. At the same time, elsewhere on campus, 2 girls are chatting about Shen Yuan, saying he's already the mysterious guy everyone is talking about. He catches all of this and throws a confident smile back, knowing that wherever he goes, he stands out. But like all good things, his rich and carefree life ended quickly in his 3rd year. Because of a big business problem, his family's 3 travel companies failed, leaving debt so big even Elon Musk would be upset. Now without money, even his friends look down on him and say he's just a shadow of his past. All those friends just disappeared, and without any other options, he had to go back to staying in the college dorms. Looking at everything that went wrong, he wonders if he will ever get a normal, peaceful life again. This sad life continued until one day something happened that changed everything. His girlfriend Jo Waning suddenly tells him, "We need to talk," and ends their relationship, saying he should delete her contact. Those harsh words hit him hard, and he stands frozen like he just got badly hurt. He shocked asks her if she really doesn't care about ending 3 years together just like that. The girl coldly replies that their relationship was never a storybook, but was just about other reasons. To make things worse, she says to never use their nickname again, then goes to another expensive car. She even says it's best to never meet again as she's about to get in the new car. In this terrible situation, Shen Yuan amazingly remains calm and even gives a small smile. Right when she is about to shut the door, he grabs it and asks her to give him a moment. He quickly pins her between the car and asks for the designer bags he bought her. Furious, the girl shouts that she handled him for 3 years and now he wants a few cheap bags back. Calm and unfazed, Shen Yuan says he doesn't care about the money, but wants them back as a little goodbye. Looking truly angry, his ex-girlfriend tells him to go somewhere very unpleasant. From the car, the new boyfriend uses their special nickname for her and boldly offers our hero a ride. Our MC thinks it's pretty funny that the other guy gets to use the nickname, but he can't, so he kindly says no to the ride. The guy with the glasses keeps trying, saying he's worried the breakup might really affect our guy. In his mind, the kid knows he needs a smart reply or he'll look weak. Keeping calm like a GD master, he says thanks for worrying but explains that he lives really close, so there's no need. He then turns to the couple and asks the new guy to take good care of Wanting. The driver tells him she'll be just fine, while the girl sitting beside him looks shocked. She clearly feels uneasy. With a confident smile, Shen Yuan says real men should treat their girlfriends as best as they can. To top it off, he starts telling the new guy all of his ex's habits and preferences, as if reading a manual, making the couple freak out. The boyfriend can't believe it and gets upset, calling our MC a loudmouth. With nothing more to say, the driver speeds off quickly. Watching the car drive away, the guy wonders if his ex made the right decision. He decides it's no longer something to worry about and hopes she has a great life when out of nowhere a golden light shows up. Right in front of him, a golden game screen appears that says initiating perfect life system. After that, his stats show up, making him think he might be imagining things because of stress. Next, the system gives him a first quest, spend money on a girl to get 3 times the amount back. It's almost like getting unlimited money. He still can't believe it, thinking it must be some trick of his mind or a very real-seeming dream. Suddenly a woman calls to him. It is the counselor Leo, who tries to make him feel better after the breakup. She keeps talking to him and says the usual words, "Every guy loves to her." She says, "Don't worry, the next one will be better." At that moment, he notices a number over her head showing an affinity level of 65. Seeing this, he finally understands the system isn't made up, it's actually happening. The counselor continues to give him a kind smile and says a few more nice words to cheer him up. Shen Yuan then smiles back, realizing he just got the biggest power-up ever and that everything was about to change. Seeing a good time, the woman brings up a serious subject and asks if he's thought about the scholarship she talked to him about. He, already thinking about new plans with the cheat code, simply says no because the money won't fix all his problems and another student should have it more. La Xiao, always being caring, offers to help him anytime, even with love troubles. After talking, the counselor leaves and our hero starts thinking fast about what he can do next. At that moment, it all clicks for him. He sees that Professor Law fits all the mission requirements and thinks it's the right time to try using this system so she doesn't slip away like in a K-drama scene. The man softly holds her arm and gives her his friendliest smile. He thanks her again for caring so much and tells her he'll get her some tea to show his gratitude. The young man soon comes back holding the drink and gives it to the counselor, who looks clearly shocked by this action. The woman, showing a gentle blush, tells him thanks for being so kind and truly surprising as a student. He quietly checks his phone and sees he spent 6 and received 18 in return. Now it's confirmed. The system really works. He starts to think if he can keep investing in her while her affinity stays over 60. His thoughts are racing now. He thinks this is a great chance to pay back his family's debt and maybe even get richer than before. It's time for a big comeback. Feeling fired up, the young man understands he can't just go back to how he was before. He can outdo his old self to maybe become version 2.0, stronger and with endless money. But right now, he's short on money. So main goal 1 is to earn more cash and look for the best girls to spend it on. Sitting on the steps, he checks his money and realizes he's pulled together almost 50,000 yuan by selling things and borrowing. He knows inside that he must be careful. Giving the professor an expensive gift for no reason would make her more suspicious than any villain with a sad story. Skip to 1 hour later. There's a garbage can with a used gift box and scraps of wrapping paper inside. Disguise at work. He now has a purse worth nearly 40,000 yuan. His idea is smart. He'll say it's just a cheap copy with decent quality so she will take it. When he gets to her door, he knocks and wonders if she's living by herself or with someone else. She opens up, wearing an apron and holding a spatula, really surprised by this visit in the middle of her making food. He quickly apologizes for showing up during her dinner, and she, still puzzled, asks why he came. He tells her the bag is just a small thank you for her help. The professor, being strict and really by the book, says no right away, thinking it's far too pricey and that she was only doing her job. Still holding to his not-so-true story, he tells her the bag is a cheap knockoff and only meant to thank her. Trying not to seem rude or upset him, the woman gives in and takes the bag, promising to thank him in her own way later. Once she has the gift, the professor says goodbye and shuts her door. Mission done, or maybe not. She suddenly remembers her food on the stove and freaks out, shouting she's ruined her dinner. In her panic, she quickly opens up again and asks the guy to eat with her since he hasn't had a meal yet. He wastes no time and says yes, because he knows this is a great moment to boost her affinity and earn more. Afterwards, Argy checks his phone and sees he made nearly 80,000 yuan in profit as the money arrives in his account. Stunks. He feels proud inside because he's never earned 80,000 yuan so easily, and doing it alone makes him feel like King Midas. At the apartment, the professor calls in for dinner while he's still staring at his phone in amazement. During their conversation, she mentions she doesn't have a boyfriend and then turns to fix her lucent prawn accessory. Seeing she's having trouble, our main character steps in and offers to help her with the bow. He steps behind her to assist, making her a bit uneasy because they're so close. The atmosphere suddenly feels tense. With his hands around her waist, he calmly tells her he'll tie the bow quickly. No bad intentions. Or maybe there are? Just then, just like in a raw moment, the door swings open and a woman in uniform walks in, wondering what's happening. Both of them get startled like they're in a scary movie, and he quickly tries to explain that things aren't what they seem. The professor, while trying not to look rattled, quickly introduces the visitor as her little sister Lang. Feeling super awkward, our lead embarrassingly greets her, but her sister glares at him with a look that says, "I'm watching you." Sensing everyone is uncomfortable, the young man makes up a reason and says he should head back to campus. The professor is puzzled since he was just eager to eat with her. As soon as he walks out, the younger sister immediately tells her that he seems like trouble and she should be careful. The sisters start to argue playfully about the bold student who seems to be trying to impress the professor. On his way back, he starts thinking about who his next supporter could be, since the professor clearly isn't after his money. Suddenly, as he's lost in thought, someone bumps into him hard from behind. When he turns around, he sees Lao Huang and asks why he looks so out of sorts. His friend's hands are shaking a lot, looking nervous and desperate for some unknown cause. Hugh Heba then shouts, almost in tears, that the girl he loves went to the movies with another guy. Shen Yuan remembers his friend is crazy about a girl he's never talked to, and asks gently if this drama is just because of that. His friend, thinking he's being made fun of, wonders if he's joking with him, but our hero just gazes at the sky and thinks quietly. All of a sudden, He Bao is hopeful, thinking that if it was only a movie, then he still has a chance. But the protagonist thinks his friend's crush has made him throw away all his self-respect. He then looks over at the girl in BNGO. Her affinity meter is at 72, which is even above the professor's high score. At the same time, her friend starts talking about her ex-boyfriend who is now single again and is also rich. The friend keeps telling the story about his breakup while the young woman just listens quietly without saying anything. In a quick memory, The same friend warned her not to get close to him and definitely not to buy him anything, since he's a spoiled rich kid. She then adds that even though he doesn't have much money now, he's still full of himself, and any smart girl would have dropped him already. With all the negative talk, the girl's liking for him drops faster than an internet signal during rain. The hero realizes he has to do something now, or he will lose his chance. Not wasting any time, he looks at his friend and asks, "Hey, would it be a problem if she and I ended up together?" Ha answers honestly that he has no chance at all and doesn't mind, as long as she doesn't choose the other guy. Happy to hear this, he decides to take action, while his friend stands there shocked and confused. The main character then walks up to the girls looking very confident, catching Mui's eye, who is surprised to see him. Her friend steps in front of him, acting rude, and asks what he wants. Instead of talking to this friend, he ignores her and speaks directly to the girl, inviting her to have dinner at a nice sushi spot the next day. The jealous friend is stunned, as the place is super expensive, and questions if he can really afford to pay for it. He adds to his invitation by saying he wants her help picking out a birthday gift for his sister after dinner. With a wave, he says bye and leaves, giving everyone a moment to think about what happened. The girl seems unsure, but her friend, even after talking bad about him, now urges her to go, saying the food at that place is amazing. The friend, still acting like a mix of villain and matchmaker, says he's good looking, and if he gets rich again, he'd be much better for her than the other guy. With her friend pushing her by saying it would be fine to go, the girl agrees to the date. The next day, the two arrive at the fancy restaurant, ready for their long-awaited dinner together. A waitress comes over and puts many types of sushi on their table, wishing them a great meal. A bit shy, the girl says he didn't need to spend a lot. He knows about his family's money problems but simply says the food is excellent and worth it, leaving her without words. He gets a bit nervous seeing her reaction, trying to look calm so he doesn't ruin his effort. She asks why he invited her, and he gives the usual answer saying he always wanted to, but just couldn't find the right time. Not a good choice. The girl starts liking him less again, showing his plain answer didn't work. Seeing that the situation is getting worse, he knows he must come up with something else right away. Quickly, he remembers how she used to buy him drinks, and they used to talk late into the night. The girl is really surprised that he recalls something so small, and her fondness for him starts to go up again. He tells her he can never forget that, and the heart gauge rises even more, which makes him feel better. Now that her feelings are doing better, he breathes out slowly, trying to act like he's in full control. Almost 40 minutes later, he pays for the food, which costs close to 3,000 yuan even after a discount. That's a big amount. The girl is very impressed and compares him to the other guy, who was always very cheap with her. He checks his phone and sees 2 system messages, telling him that the money he spent will be returned. The system says his mission was accomplished and that he got back the money, even multiplied, like they promised. Now that her affinity is up to 76, he thinks it's amazing to earn 10,000 yen from just one dinner. It seems much easier than grinding for items in an online game. He starts to feel more interested in her. It could be because the money gives a feeling of power, or maybe she's just really likable. Together, the two hold hands, leave the restaurant, and go straight to the mall to buy his sister a present. But when they arrive at the mall, he comes face to face with his ex-girlfriend and her new boyfriend. What an unexpected event. The couple is very upset to see him with another girl only a day after their breakup. The new boyfriend gets mad, feeling like he needs to buy costly items to impress, but this guy, who used to be broke, is walking around happily with a new girl. Not wanting to start a scene, our main guy suggests they check other stores first and avoid trouble, but the new boyfriend, trying to impress, invites them all in saying, "Come on, looking is free." Famous last words. The main guy says it was just a chance meeting and that he only came to buy a gift for his sister. The man with glasses is sarcastic and mocks him, saying he should try the toy shop instead of a high-end store. Seeing the argument, the ex-girlfriend gets up close to the new girl to start a direct confrontation face to face. She warns, "Just be careful, don't get tricked by this liar." The young man steps forward, refusing to let it go, and asks her what she's trying to say. After all, who did he really deceive? The other man says he should not talk to his ex like that, and that there is no need to act rich any longer. Our main guy thinks bitterly that those two really belong together. They act like bad characters in a soap opera. At the same time, a new mission from the system shows up, saying that living a perfect life should never be underestimated. It's time for him to act. The couple's negative affinity shows up, 30 for him and 35 for her. That's exactly what he needs right now. Given the system's mission, he decides not to hold anything back anymore. Now is the time to be honest. Taking his date's hand, he goes into the luxury store with full confidence. 2 saleswomen are gossiping. One doesn't want to help someone she thinks is broke, but the older saleswoman tells her she has to assist the customer anyway. After all, every customer should get service. At the same time, the ex-girlfriend picks out an extremely pricey bag and tells her new boyfriend to pay for it. The saleswoman who gets our main guy complains that her coworker always serves the good customers while she gets the difficult ones. The other saleswoman says the woman made a great choice and shows more things together costing 100,000 yuan. there are two adorable teddy bears with angel howls in a nice pink box. While all this is happening, the new girl picks out 2 handbags to give to the guy's sister. The saleswoman adds it all up and tells him the total is over 50,000 yuan. The man's face goes pale when he hears the price, thinking a 20,000 yuan bag was already way too much. The ex-girlfriend pushes him, saying he should pay and prove how powerful he is in front of our hero. Watching what's happening, our main character chooses to buy both bags and all the things the girl had picked out right away. The jealous couple's eyes go wide, shocked by what they just heard. The world seems broken. The girl with him is also surprised by how much money he is about to use. The saleswoman, shocked, asks if he's sure since she heard he was poor. She checks the bill and says it's 100,000, and he notices that this is just what he has in his account. Looks like it was meant to be. Happy and confident, the guy gives his card to the saleswoman. The helper almost cries because this sale gives her much more commission than she hoped for. The ex-girlfriend is angry and shouts, asking where he got all that money and if he borrowed it. The guy jokes, saying he doesn't look poor and maybe he should buy another bag for his ex too. The man with glasses becomes very embarrassed, as even his own car was only bought with a big loan. The ex-girlfriend tries again to corner him, but he quickly makes up something and backs away. Pretending he got a sudden call, he runs out of the store, leaving the girl there fuming with anger. The woman leaves in a rage, warning our hero to beware while making it clear she dislikes him. Our main character grins proudly, since the negative emotion points have worked and the task is finished. Once it's over, the guy gives one of the bags to the girl, but she declines, saying it's too pricey. He keeps insisting, saying it's to say sorry for all the mean comments she heard. He quickly gives all the bags to the girl, who is left shocked by his gifts. He then tells the real reason. The bags were always meant for her so he could collect the system's reward. The girl worries she will seem greedy if she accepts so many costly gifts all at once. She tries to turn them down again, but the guy gently takes her hands, stopping her from giving them back. He says this is only the start, and if she doesn't take them, he will feel guilty about everything. The system lets him know the mission is done, and 6 times the cash has been returned. His account is very full now. Now that the girl is helping him earn, he plans to look after her so he does not lose her trust. The boy says they should go back to campus, guessing that things should move calmly between them. The girl blushes at how kind he is, clearly starting to really like him. When they arrive back at the dorm, he meets the same bullies who used to mock him, but now they treat him specially. They congratulate him on coming back successfully and right away ask to have a celebration meal, suggesting a big party for everyone in the class. He ignores his fake friends and goes to his room without talking. His roommate is upset because his rival is telling everyone that he went out with the girl of his dreams. The hero cheers him up, mysteriously saying his rival's days in the spotlight are ending. His friend doesn't really believe it. He thinks that the girl went out with someone else, and maybe something happened between them. The main character asks if the girl didn't just agree to go out with him. That should show she was with the other guy, or maybe it doesn't. Without saying more, he just smiles calmly, leaving his friend even more puzzled about everything. With lots of money in his bank, he decides that the next day he'll visit his family to finally help them. When he gets home, he sees his uncle, Shen Yuan, who greets him with a smile as fake as a $3 bill. His father is begging for more time to pay back the borrowings, but the uncle wants the money quickly. As a real spy, our hero listens to the argument from behind the door, looking very upset. The uncle keeps pressing for all his money in the coming days, making up reasons about things he needs to pay for. His mother, who is tough, gets mad and tells him outright that she's helped him with money before and there wasn't so much trouble then. The father tries to calm things down, but the mother stays angry about how uncaring her brother-in-law is. The uncle even dares to say he's only staying calm because it's family, and that he would act much harsher with other people. The mother gets very mad at the hidden threat and says he has no gratitude after they helped him so much. Trying to stop a huge fight in the living room, the father cuts in and suggests selling the family's gold jewelry to pay what they owe. Almost like magic, the system gives a new task: pay the family's debts for a double reward. It's the mission his family had been waiting for. He's excited about the quest since he was already going to help out, and with the bonus, his mother, looking sad, gives her husband a box of jewelry, upset to let it go. Seeing this, the young man feels bad. He remembers selling 2 of his mother's rings to buy a bag for his ex-girlfriend. Without waiting, he steps into the room like a movie star and says he has the money to pay the debts. His parents don't think he is serious and ask him not to joke around when it's so important. He says it's real, and to prove it, sends money to his father's account right then. The parents can't believe it when 200,000 yuan shows up and ask where he got that much money. So he doesn't have to explain he's got a system and easy cash. He uses the best modern excuse he can. He earned it by investing in cryptocurrency. His parents are proud and very thankful, saying he rescued them from a big problem. With the cash ready, his mother pays her brother-in-law what she owes and makes it clear: leave now and don't try to contact us again. The uncle feels really embarrassed about what happened and tries to talk, but she interrupts him before he finishes. With a cold stare that could scare any villain, Our hero's mother yells at him to get out of her house right away. With nothing left to say, the man runs out, even more afraid of his sister-in-law than a scary film. He can't believe how fast they got the money and wonders if they won the lottery. As he walks away, the uncle regrets acting so badly and tries to think of a way to fix what he's done. At the same time, the system signs off the mission and puts the big reward into our main man's account. However, he knows there's still a lot left to pay their family debts. The young man thinks the smartest choice is to use this money to make even more. He wants his money to make him more money. Thinking this, he hands another 200,000 yuan to his father, telling him he still has some saved. His mother tells him to keep the money, but his father looks embarrassed and asks for just 50,000. It's a familiar scene. The protagonist's father is acting just like he did asking his own parents for money. Our hero is amused, thinking genetics must be strong seeing his dad act just like him. He remembers when he was young asking his dad for money with the same shy face. How things have changed. Back at college, he comes across Professor Leo waiting for him on the steps. The woman says she has no classes that afternoon and gives a smile so gentle it seems magical. She then asks him to have dinner with her to thank him for his earlier help. Suddenly, like a boss mysteriously spawns, the professor's younger sister shows up with a scary glare. He gets nervous just seeing her since to him she already feels like his own villain, the last test before the champion. He feels totally uneasy near the professor's sister and thinks it's best not to mess with her. Both sisters look at him. One has a kind smile and the other a face that says, "Go near my sister and you'll answer to me." Feeling it's a tricky situation, he quickly uses the Jor family escape trick. He makes up an excuse and runs, leaving both sisters standing there. The younger sister warns that he is up to no good, but the professor thinks her sister is too suspicious. As the day gets hotter, the hero starts to think back to the days when he drove around, air conditioner on full blast. He remembers how nice it was to drive with his ex beside him, and for a moment, he misses those times. But then he recalls he has money in the system set aside for buying a car and decides to use it. He quickly texts Menhua to invite her to look at cars together, and she says yes right away. The girl's friend immediately starts to tease her, saying that even though they've just started talking, they're already going car shopping. Feeling shy, the girl says that they are not together, but her friend keeps joking with her. Her friend jokes that she got very lucky with a good-looking rich guy, and now it's her own turn to find someone too. Out of nowhere, while they are talking, the young woman feels strong pain when she hurts herself on a piece of clothing. An hour later, the couple pulls up at a fancy car dealership to choose our guy's new ride. A salesman comes over and is shocked to spot the girl, whom he remembers from high school. The girl also soon realizes who the salesman is. He's an old classmate who used to have a huge crush on her at school. There's always someone like that, right? Our main guy asks who he is, and the young woman says he's just a classmate. The classmate introduces himself in a formal way, and the salesman greets the main guy with a forced handshake. He then says they'd like to see the M9 model, one of the priciest, which makes the salesman suspicious. The salesman brings him to the car, thinking the young man is just another student aiming to impress his girlfriend with no money. He stands there staring at how pretty the girl is, thinking back to when he thought she was perfect in high school. The salesman starts showing off, sure that he's a better match for her now. Feeling confident, he asks her out, but the girl nicely says no, telling him she has plans already. Our main guy, picking up on what's happening, asks for a test drive, stopping the salesman from hitting on her more. Annoyed to be stopped during his smooth routine, the salesman says no and gives a weak excuse about using the test car. The young man, not being fooled, says he saw the test car right at the front and tells him to call another salesperson since he isn't interested in helping. He doesn't even wait for a response. He turns and asks the receptionist with a polite tone if someone else can help him. Right away, a very professional woman with glasses comes over and says she can help. The new saleswoman, Chennai, introduces herself and asks how she can assist the two of them. Our hero is a little embarrassed by her looks, but tries to act normal so he doesn't seem silly in front of his date. A few other salespeople start gossiping that the guy is just a student showing off for his girlfriend. The first salesman, still angry, says the customer is the exact type and that they just like to look impressive. While they drive the car, the saleswoman calmly tells the guy about everything the car can do. He sees she is both very skilled and pretty, but also remembers that luxury car saleswomen are sometimes after rich buyers. The guy then remembers news reports about saleswomen who will do anything to close a sale. She asks about what he can spend, and he answers honestly right away. "I want to take this car home today." The saleswoman can't believe how quickly he decided and wonders why the other salesman did not want to help him. After a quick check, she says she can get him a new one from a different branch in a week. The woman begins to wonder if he's a new Hindle customer by luck, or if there's another reason he's in such a rush. Back at their office, a coworker asks what the student customer is after. She gives a proud smile and says the guy bought the car, shocking her coworker that it happened so quickly. The other salespeople don't believe it, saying he'll give a reason not to pay like others have. The saleswoman then tells them the big news. He's not just buying the car, but also paying in cash. The audience was so surprised that no one made a sound. The salesman who did not succeed in the sale is angry, complaining that he missed out on a commission that could have covered his rent for several months. Once things calm down, the saleswoman says goodbye and even asks if he needs a ride later, but the guy refuses politely. He answers that they will just take a cab, making the saleswoman a little sad about his response. The saleswoman worries that maybe she upset the customer's girlfriend and gives her last farewells. The couple goes out to have a meal, but the girl seems somewhat uneasy, like something is bothering her. The man, noticing how she feels, asks if she's mad or jealous, but she says she isn't and turns away. Because he is good at noticing little clues, he says her face shows what she's feeling and tells her that talking to the saleswoman was all work. Still feeling jealous, the girl says she saw him being very friendly with the other woman. He apologizes and explains he's just used to being nice, but the girl asks him to avoid it next time. The young woman starts to make a plan, thinking she needs a way to keep the guy close and make sure he sticks around. The plan to keep the MC starts right away. The main character promises he will not let it happen again, but silently thinks he is smarter than people believe. She remembers he already bought her 2 fancy bags but worries about being greedy if she asks for another one. He, knowing what she's thinking, says it is common for women to have several bags and wanting more is fine. The guy thinks the more shopping she does, the more he earns because of the triple money return. It's good for both of them. Sitting inside, he asks if she prefers something hot or cold to drink. The girl feels awkward, thinking he might be hinting about her time of the month. Noticing her mixed-up feelings, the young man finds her reaction funny and chooses to go along with her confusion. 3 hours later, they walk out of the mall carrying lots of bags after spending a big amount of money shopping. The girl can't stop thinking about how he spent almost 140,000 yuan on her in only 2 days. Right on time, the system confirms the double payback. Now our protagonist has over 1 million in his account to use. Things are only beginning. Ready and confident, the guy suggests that maybe spending the night somewhere besides the dorm would be more fun. The girl immediately agrees, looking forward to a night that was sure to be really memorable. Skip ahead by half an hour, and now in a luxury hotel, the main character is in the shower refreshing himself. While he's in the shower, the young woman is on the bed already trying to find a crazy reason to tell her friend why she's not coming back. Right then, the guy steps out, looking very handsome, and asks if she is ready, leaving her almost unable to talk. In her mind, the girl is already telling her friend sorry, feeling he spoiled her with gifts and it was just too hard to refuse. With that, she sends a message to her friend using the usual excuse that she needed to visit a family member at the last minute. The pair then snuggles on the bed and he, always romantic, tells her he likes her scent even if she hasn't showered yet. Afterward, she thinks that the whole thing wasn't the huge scary event her friend described. But the young man feels a little worn out, realizing his main character energy dropped after 2 months without working out. Yet the girl, who looks like she drank an energy drink, asks him to go again, surprising him with her excitement. He asks for a short break, but the girl insists and says she wants to keep going right now. With a charming look that could sway anyone, she persuades him to continue, showing the night was too fun to stop. The next day, back at the dorm, he decides it's finally time to use the system's money to fix his reputation and handle his debts. He pays his credit card bill first, then remembers he still owes a friend 100,000. His roommate, curious, asks about the last night and invites him to join a class dinner. Then he notices in the class chat that his rival has just bought a new car and is showing off to everyone, trying to get attention. A little later, he gets a text from a friend telling him to join the dinner and take a break. As if the system could read his thoughts, he gets a new mission: use 1 million yuan in working capital to invest in a business. As he thinks about what to do with the money, he gets a great idea to invest in his friend's bar, which is being redone. Without waiting, he messages his friend back asking for the location of the restaurant so he can join them. When he gets to the fancy restaurant, a man with a woman is already complaining about how one of the guests is late. Another man agrees and repeats the saying that important people never show up late. The meeting host, Liu Hong, tells the group to relax and says Shen Yuan is dependable and will be there soon. The first man grumbles that since his friend is paying, he can't really have any complaints. The woman with him complains instead that he won't make their relationship official, but always tries to get close to her. The man in the suit explains that his girlfriend is stuck in traffic and will arrive soon. The other man envies his cousin a bit for getting such a wonderful girlfriend. He even pictures her in a nice office dress and thinks that no guy could ever refuse her. Finally, our main character shows up and right away says sorry for being late, blaming bad traffic. His friend hosting teases him about being late and jokes about reporting his driver. The man in the floral shirt jokes that he's lucky to have his own driver to blame. Just then, the man in the suit's girlfriend comes in. She also says sorry for arriving late. The man in the suit introduces her as his girlfriend, mentioning that she sells cars for a living. The woman suddenly stops moving as she quickly recognizes the main character. He was the mystery customer who paid for a car in cash just the day before. Handling it calmly, she chooses to act like she has never seen him before and introduces herself properly to the group. After 40 minutes, the host reveals why he called everyone over. He wants to fix up his bar and needs people to invest. He says he is looking for a 700,000 yuan investment and asks everybody for their opinions. The guy in the floral shirt already doesn't trust him, thinking maybe his friend doesn't have money. The others don't want to help either, saying they only wanted a free dinner and didn't plan to spend money. In their minds, it's obvious. Anyone who brings up money at a dinner like this is really dumb. The host can see he's in an awkward spot, noticing his friends are just using him and run away when he really needs help. Feeling upset, he tries to break the awkward pause, asking why everybody is quiet after eating so much. The floral shirt guy then boldly suggests everyone put in just a little money, like helping with a hand. The suit guy says the host's earlier attempts to invest were always failures and wasted money. Someone else says they depend on their parents still and don't have extra money to invest. The host finally sees that his friends are useless and only talk, but don't support him when it matters. Tired, he says borrowing is totally different, and if nobody cares, they should just forget the idea. The floral shirt guy quickly agrees, telling everyone to just eat, drink, and enjoy their time. Our main character, thinking everyone is fake, gets irritated and decides he can't stand this anymore. Right then, he gets up and surprises everyone by saying he'll invest the 700,000 himself, making the whole table stare at him in shock. The host can't believe his own ears, completely stunned by what his friend just promised. The guy in the floral shirt starts to laugh, telling the main character to stop making jokes. Another man tells him to go freshen up, thinking he is drunk and not serious. The man in the suit tells him to be careful and live within his limits, practically calling him poor and dishonest. The man in the floral shirt tries to shame him even more by offering cab fare for him to get home. The saleswoman, who knows what really happened, wonders why no one else believes him when he just bought a very pricey car so easily. She almost wants to speak up for him but is worried about sticking her neck out for someone new in such a tricky group. The main character then stays quiet and calmly shows his phone, displaying the finished 700,000 yuan transfer. The host can't say a word after seeing the proof on the screen, in total shock at what his friend has done. To make sure no one doubts it, the phone's display shows the transfer confirmation and shuts everyone up. The stunned host hands the phone to the floral shirt guy, who asks what's going on. When he sees the transfer, the guy shouts in shock, not believing the amount he's looking at. The saleswoman understands that everything has changed, but she still doesn't know why everyone is acting this way. The man wearing the floral shirt feels extremely embarrassed, quickly invents a weak excuse, and chooses to leave as soon as he can. His cousin tries to stop him, but he tells his cousin to go too, giving another silly reason. The guy is surprised because his parents haven't called, but he listens to his cousin and goes as well. The host just blames his cousin for being clueless and sees that our hero got all the attention. Another guest, feeling nosy, asks what's happening and wants to check the phone message. After seeing the transfer, he also invents a reason and leaves quickly as if escaping danger. Each friend, one after another, says bye and walks out, leaving the host almost by himself. Seeing how awkward things have gotten, the couple decides to leave too, so the room is almost empty. Before going, the saleswoman says that our hero bought a car from her with cash only the day before. The man is shocked to hear this, and the lady confirms it, adding that she has the contract saved on her phone as proof. Angry, he scolds her for not mentioning this earlier, and she becomes annoyed by his rude attitude. Knowing she's right, the saleswoman ends things with him immediately, telling him he is shallow and she never wants to meet him again even if he was the richest man. The host feels sorry that he set up the party, as he now sees his friends are not loyal at all. The main character, interested in real matters, asks the host about the bar, wanting to help plan it. For the next 30 minutes, they talk about decoration and how the future bar will be run. An hour later, our main character gets a notification that his new car is here. The saleswoman also hears from him and wonders what he'd like to talk about in person. Meanwhile, he decides it is time to grow his fortune and use everything the system offers. The next day, the saleswoman waits at a restaurant, feeling a bit nervous about seeing her VIP customer. She asks herself that perhaps she arrived too soon, since he isn't there yet for their meeting. All of a sudden, she spots her boss, the dealership's general manager, walking into the same restaurant. The man sends his group away, saying that he has important tasks there. His colleagues begin to gossip, guessing if the saleswoman is finally going to give in to the manager. One of them even makes a mean comment about how it looks like she arranged everything just to be noticed by the manager. The man in the suit, who is just dumped, hears them talk and feels suspicious about it. The manager walks over to the saleswoman's table and boldly asks her to join him since she's there by herself. He doesn't wait for her answer, sits next to her, and says there's no harm in them having food together. The woman instantly tells him off, warning him to keep away as he is already married with children. The guy laughs and says he can easily get divorced if that's the only issue. The ex-boyfriend watches the whole thing from far away, feeling useless compared to the manager's confidence. He wonders if he lost his girlfriend to someone he thinks is unattractive and gets really angry. Acting without thinking, the guy walks up to the table and says the two are cheating behind his back. The manager, not sure what is going on, asks who he is, and the man in the suit lightly taps the guy's face. Full of jealousy, he calls him a jerk. Then the two begin fighting right there in the nice restaurant. The manager, not willing to accept this, fights back, and the fight becomes so intense, it looks like a scene from Fight Club. Right at this wild moment, our main character shows up, walking into the fight like he just entered a random scene from an anime. Then, he sees that her ex-boyfriend is just an ordinary guy, and that if it wasn't for the manager, he'd be the one losing the fight. Without caring about the fight, our hero asks her to leave with him and lets the two men handle things themselves. Once in the car, she says that her relationship with that guy only lasted for 2 weeks and ended because he was useless. She still looks worried about her boss, but our main character, always thinking ahead, tells her to find a new job. She says it's not simple to get another job and that she'd lose all her customers if she leaves. Just after that, as they drive by a flower shop, the saleswoman says her real dream is to open her own cafe someday. She complains that her sales job is very tiring and she wishes to have a business that fits her personality. Our main character, always ready, surprises her by saying he wants to help her open her own cafe. The woman thinks he's joking, but he shocks her with a serious job offer. Looking like a boss, he offers her 300,000 yuan right away to open the cafe and, of course, work for him. The saleswoman is totally stunned by the offer, unable to answer because it surprises her so much. Right away, her liking for him jumps to 64, showing that his offer really touched her heart, and he sees a new opportunity. He is very happy that he earned her trust so fast. Still not believing it, the woman asks if he really means it. She is shocked by the offer. He says yes and makes things better with extra pay, a car, and a bonus if the cafe does well. It's a great offer. After thinking about it, she figures out she could make more than 300,000 yuan a year, an offer that's hard to resist. The first thing she thinks of is why he wants to keep her as his unofficial girlfriend too. She thinks the offer is great, but she does not want to have such a role in anyone's life. He quickly notices she's worried and explains that the plan is just to start a chain of cafes, and things between them will only be about work. Feeling very relieved, the woman says she needs time to decide, but she is already really thinking about taking the dream job. Right then, he receives a message from Menhua who asks him to go out for a cold drink. He is surprised by her endless energy but agrees to meet her if he can add one simple condition. After that, he takes his leave from the saleswoman, telling her to consider the offer and to inform him of her choice later. Sometime later, he goes to the hotel room where the young woman is already waiting excitedly for him. She quickly hugs him, saying she missed him, and he happily hugs her back. All of a sudden, she pauses, breathes in deeply, and notices another woman's scent on him, giving him a suspicious look. He gets caught off guard and tries to explain that it's likely the car saleswoman's perfume. Acting very jealous, she presses him to the wall, wanting to know if he's interested in someone else. He hugs her to calm her down and insists that nothing happened, explaining again that he was at the dealership and just accidentally took on her perfume smell. The girl tells him to stay away from the saleswoman and, even more, to always let her know before going out with any different woman. He tells himself that he will need a lot of money if he wants to make good use of the system. So, a bit of jealousy is just part of things. The young woman says she is going to shower, but he stops her and smiles, saying she can do it later. He hugs her from behind, then softly tells her that if she skips her shower, she has to do something else. A moment later, her clothes fall to the ground, showing that the evening was far from over for this couple. He says again that he loves how she smells even without taking a shower, which leaves her shy and happy at the same time. She says she likes his scent too, and they both give in to their feelings. He kisses her neck and tells her that she started a strong feeling inside him. In return, she says his name softly and admits that she really likes him, much more than she ever expected. A couple hours later, the young woman seems just as full of energy and wants even more, but he is totally worn out and sweating a lot. He notices that she has much more energy than his ex, and he feels as tired as if he just ran a long race without getting ready. He checks the system and sees that her affection for him has gone up to 90 after their time together. To thank him, the system gives out a lottery ticket, a voucher he can spend, and most importantly, a new skill. He gets really happy when he reads the name of the new skill, Ruthless Power, and starts dreaming about being in charge of everything now. He silently apologizes to the girl, saying in his mind that he will now take over and things will go on his terms. Then, the protagonist uses his new skill and feels a rush of power inside, sort of like how Goku feels when he first becomes a Super Saiyan. The sensation is amazing and he understands the system is clever. It gives rewards that match exactly what he needs the most right now. He thinks that if things were this hard with her, trying to reach level 90 with the professor will be a slow and hard journey. Excited, he decides it's time to use the power from the system and find out what the new skill can do. Not noticing anything, the young woman asks why he didn't shower, and he tells her he changed his mind. Grinning with confidence, he goes up to her, ready to try out his new skill right away. While our hero was busy working on his skills, the saleswoman was complaining to her friend about the job offer that came unexpectedly. Her friend right away gets suspicious, thinking that an offer too good might really be a trick like a Nigerian prince email. She explains that the offer was not from a stranger, and that the man simply paid cash for a car and didn't even try to talk the price down. Upon hearing this, her friend's interest grows, and now she wants to know his age and if this man was at least handsome. Our saleswoman, a little shy, says that he was good-looking, making her friend's eyes shine with excitement. Her friend, not missing a chance, says honestly that age does not matter when the man has a big bank balance. But there's a small detail. The saleswoman remembers that he already has a girlfriend. To her friend, though, such a thing is just a small problem. She is surprised at her friend's idea to just take him, as if it's totally normal. Her friend, thinking quickly, offers to chase after him if she herself does not want to. The saleswoman quickly refuses that idea. To end the talk, she pretends her boyfriend has arrived, hangs up the phone, and puts it away. Looking out the window, the saleswoman stands silently, thinking deeply about the opportunity that might change her whole life. 40 minutes after that happy training session, the girl asks why he is acting so differently. In fact, more lively and full of energy. Feeling shy, she hides under the blanket, saying they'd both had fun twice in a row already. Proud of himself and his new powers, he asks if she enjoyed it and invites her for another round, showing he still had plenty of energy left. To make things more exciting, the guy asks her to take charge, reminding her that she was a dancer before and should know some good moves. Turning very red, the girl says she doesn't know how, but he cheers her up and says there's always a first time. He gives her a kiss, saying not knowing is no excuse and that the more you practice, the better you get. Jokingly, she calls him bad as she lets herself enjoy the happy moment. The next morning, our hero wakes up feeling great and ready to start his day because he had no classes. With some free time, he chooses to look at the lottery ticket that the system gave him as a reward. Very nervous, he checks the ticket numbers with the results on his phone, just like an Anon fan waiting to find out the results of a big contest. And surely enough, he won. Our hero almost faints when he finds out he just got 6 million yuan in the lottery. That's money to spend. Not thinking twice, he hurries to his parents' home to tell them the news and finally end their money problems. His mother welcomes him at the door and quickly asks him to lower his voice so he doesn't wake up their neighbors with his yelling. His father comes soon after, looking worried, because he thinks his son has gotten into trouble again. Smiling widely, the hero says that they are now rich since he just won 6 million in the lottery. His worried parents think all the stress is affecting their son and try to calm him, believing he must be confused. He shows them the ticket and the results on his phone so they can check himself and see he is not imagining it. His father takes the phone, looks at the numbers, and is so amazed that he yells out in shock for everyone nearby to hear. His mother is stunned too, barely believing their huge luck. Extremely happy, his mom cheers, saying his name will be remembered proudly by the family and they should go celebrate. Taking advantage of the excitement, the young man shares that he wants to use part of the money to open his own business and learn before finishing college. His father says yes right away, but as a careful parent, tells him to save some money just in case things don't go well. He agrees and says he will use only 1 million to start and let his parents look after the other 5 million. His parents feel very proud and are pleased with the responsibility their son is showing. At the same time, in the dealership, the manager, whose face is marked from the fight, chooses to direct his anger toward the saleswoman. She stands up for herself at once and says she ended things with her ex long ago and had nothing to do with the fight. The boss, being unfair, blames her for everything, already planning how he could use the situation. The woman stands her ground, pointing out the fight isn't her business and that he chose to sit at her table. To punish her, the manager removes her from customer service, stopping her from earning commissions. She questions his decision, saying she'd requested to leave early, but he ignores her. Laughing sarcastically, the man says he is the boss and he is the one who makes the rules there. Things get even worse when he warns her that without commissions, she will struggle to pay her rent. Tired of all the mistreatment, the saleswoman loses her patience and quits immediately, telling him his unimportant job is not worth it. The manager tries to calm her, asking her to reconsider, but she sticks with her choice. Thinking to herself, the woman realizes that even though he looks young, the hero is confident, sure of himself, and unlike other men she has met. Feeling certain, she decides she doesn't need to wait anymore and quits right away, willing to start fresh. 30 minutes later, she texts the hero to say she's considered it and wants to accept his job offer. Around the same time, in the dorm, our hero visits Professor Lee, who is very busy and sorting out a lot of boxes. The professor says sorry for the bother, telling him that she is moving and could use some help with her stuff. Our hero, wanting to be helpful, says it's no problem since he had a free morning, and asks what she needs him to do. She soon shows him the hardest part, a desk and a filing cabinet that look heavier than Gemini Saga's armor. Just then, the professor reaches for books on the top shelf, standing up on her tiptoes like a dancer. Even though she stretches as far as she can, the shelf feels so high up, it's like she's never going to reach it. That's when, just like in a popular K-drama, our hero comes up from behind and grabs the books for her, completely surprising her since he was so close. The professor gets flustered by how near he is, saying his name like she just saw a ghost she likes. She feels embarrassed and gets butterflies, remembering something that happened before between them. Her mind starts to race, thinking maybe he likes her, since that moment was anything but just work. A bit confused, she asks if he got the books, and he answers with a big smile. He's happy that he managed to save the day, making the professor blush even more. And just as if something wanted to ruin the mood, two students walk in right then, looking ready to help move furniture. They quickly see that the professor's face is bright red and wonder what happened in that room before they entered. Without saying anything, the students start moving the filing cabinet while a young couple watches them. The professor sighs with relief they didn't get there a minute earlier, thinking about how awkward that would have been. She can still feel how warm and tense it was, but she tries to act normal and serious again. Our hero, always keeping count, notices her affection went up to 70 and wonders what he did to gain those points. He thinks maybe he should visit more often to see if that XP bar keeps rising. Elsewhere, at a coffee shop near campus, two girls are excitedly talking about a classmate. One of them laughs about the guy paying cash for a car before finishing school, thinking that's really cool. Meanwhile, our main character's rival is telling everyone, thinking he's the best right now, and that girls will line up for him. Still, the girls say that for some students, flashy cars aren't a big deal because their families are already rich. The rival gets awkward, making it clear he's not used to getting so much girl attention. Suddenly, a striking woman looking just like a five-star character enters the cafe, capturing everyone's attention. Outside, a self-parking car stops itself, and the girls wonder who owns such a car. One of them notices it's the M9, a high-end car that looks straight out of a science fiction movie. Everyone is shocked when our hero steps out of the car casually, like it's the most normal thing ever, making everyone stare in surprise. The girls see his car and can't believe the once broken rich kid now rides around in something like that. The stunning woman waves at him, and the rival almost loses it when he notices she was there waiting for our hero. The rival is hit by jealousy when he realizes the most attractive woman there was waiting for our main character the whole time. She tells him that the cafe owner is coming soon and wants to know how he found the car's performance. He takes a sip of his drink and answers happily that the car is actually quite good. The rival's friend says that the way our hero and the pretty woman are behaving looks very suspicious. Just then, the cafe owner comes in, says sorry for arriving late, and introduces herself officially. Our hero greets her, mentions that they're the same age, asks her to join them, and gets straight to business. The woman says she has to sell the cafe because of personal family problems and asks for 300,000 yuan for the place. With his investor confidence, he makes a counteroffer of 250,000, thinking of the budget the system allowed. Because she really needs the money, she quickly agrees to the offer and says she noticed his determination. They shake hands, and he says he'll send the money after they sign the contract. The deal is finished just like that. Right after, the former owner introduces our man as the new boss to one of the workers. The worker, feeling shy, greets him and welcomes the new boss of the cafe. He explains that the pretty woman with him will be taking care of everything since he won't always be there. The girls at the other table start talking, saying he only bought the cafe because of the attractive woman with him. The rival feels really bad, totally beaten and embarrassed, with his self-esteem gone. The new manager of the cafe sees everything and feels very out of place in this situation. All of a sudden, the former owner's phone rings, changing the atmosphere and stopping their chat. She says excuse me to answer the call, leaving just the two of them alone for a while. The new manager quickly knows the voice calling. It was the wife of the sly manager from the dealership. Our hero notices this and feels upset at the daring actions of the manager. His new manager tells him that she has proof of her boss's bad behavior and wanted to report the troublemaker. But he tells her not to do it, thinking of what hurt it might cause the man's family. Like a good person, he says he'll deal with it so she won't have to, and promises to handle everything himself. She thanks him, very glad she doesn't have to solve the big problem on her own. He also tells her about the payment and the first amount for the cafe, which makes her even more grateful for his kindness. The system, always alert, gives him more funds to invest and some new mysterious gifts. The former owner says goodbye to him, thanks him for the sale, and wishes to see him again. As they shake hands, he feels a gentle touch and thinks about the charm of this experienced lady. For a short moment, he has a small daydream, imagining a special episode with her. He says goodbye, saying they'll definitely meet again, and watches her go while smiling. Half an hour later, our main character and his new manager are in a nice restaurant celebrating their partnership. Looking at the woman, he thinks she is really attractive and that any man would agree. He asks her to sit closer, and she feels shy because of his invitation. He asks her again to get a bit closer, thinking it's his chance to gain some extra benefits from his investment. She begins to wonder if he truly wants to earn money with the calf or if he has different motives altogether. His hand then reaches for hers in a very flirty way, and she feels that maybe the only thing she can give back is herself. The woman tries to hold him back, saying the waiter is coming, but he calms her with a look. He gently hugs her from behind, taking her breath away and leaving her no chance to say no to his daring move. After 10 minutes, the waiter shows up with the food, completely breaking the mood for the evening. The man steps away and tells her to eat, leaving her confused and her heart racing. He offers her the special dish from the house and she agrees. Still trying to figure out what just happened. In her head, she decides he's good looking, but quite the flirt for acting like that. The woman is a bit shy, but can't hide that his confident way pulled her in. 40 minutes later, he hands over the 2,652 bill without any sign of concern. He thinks to himself that he just earned more than 5,000 yen thanks to the system's triple rewards. Easy win. She wants to be professional, saying she'd like to go to the cafe to get to know everything and start working. He, with other ideas, asked her to go home, telling her the work can wait until tomorrow. She agrees to go with him, noticing that look on his face like he knows what's coming. At her apartment door, he uses a classic line. "Don't you want to invite me inside for a glass of water?" She pauses, saying it might look strange, but he continues trying to charm her. Very directly, he asks if another man is inside her apartment, which makes her cheeks red. The woman says no, and he talks her into letting him in, explaining there's nothing wrong with it. She tries harder to refuse, but he pushes her against the wall, ready to take things further. The man corners her, giving her no way out and completely in his control. With no more words, he kisses her and says he wants another kind of water, and then things start to heat up. The woman sighs in happiness, letting herself enjoy the moment and forgetting her earlier doubts. While they have their moment upstairs, her ex-boyfriend soon gets to her building with flowers, hoping to win her back. He leaves the flowers at her door, thinking that nice gesture will make her take him back. But when he hears some really energetic noises, he knows she's moved on and gets as mad as ever. Filled with anger, he yells the manager's name out loud, believing she went with her boss, and starts hitting the door. The main guy hears the annoying voice and wonders why that man keeps trying to bother her life. To forget the noise, he gives her another kiss, telling her it's only a loud neighbor. Not caring at all about the door pounding, he lifts her up and brings her straight to the bedroom. The ex finally leaves, and leaves behind a mean message for the happy pair. After an hour, the woman says she's tired but admits the whole experience was great. He pulls her closer, joking that if she just lies there, she won't be tired so fast. Now that he has his endless energy skill, he thinks he can last all night without using a stamina potion. In the morning, the guy wakes up to the yummy smell of grilled cheese and fried eggs. He sees her in the kitchen cooking breakfast while looking very cute. She is smiling as she cooks, showing a gentle and caring side he hadn't seen before. He notices that she's a lot more considerate than she first seemed at the hotel. Right on cue, before things get too sweet, the system gives him a new mission to buy a place for the new cafe manager. The game keeps going. Our hero imagines the dream of any isekai hero, a life of comfort with a pool party with wafers. But real life interrupts as his new boss wakes him up and says breakfast will be ready in 2 minutes. Smiling playfully, he asks if she only made breakfast, hinting he might want dessert already. He comes up behind her to hug her. He tells her she can cook her own food because he has already decided what he wants to eat. Then, out of nowhere, he asks her to buy a house like he's just asking her to get bread, leaving the woman totally surprised. She's now trying to figure out what the trick is since he wore her out all night and now suddenly says this. She isn't sure, saying that it's a lot of money and money doesn't just appear from nowhere, but he stops her talking with a kiss. She doesn't know that for him, since the system is running, getting money is super easy. He hugs her and says he wants to buy her a home because he wants his partner treated well. Our hero even teases her, saying they were so loud last night that the neighbors must know who they are now. He kisses her and admits that he also made noise, but her happy shouts were really loud. Then she remembers she planned to see 2 friends for coffee and says they can check out houses later. He points out that finding a house and filling out papers will take a while, so she agrees to move her plans. Right away, she texts her friends, canceling the meetup and asking to see them at night instead. On the other side of the city, one friend tells the other that the cafe manager didn't come because of something unexpected. The second friend, who's a fitness coach, wonders what could have caused such a quick cancellation. The first friend is getting suspicious, thinking the manager either made up a story or is imagining things. But the trainer is still eager to meet this rich and good-looking guy her friend got. The friend agrees to find out more and grabs her phone to send another text. When the answer comes, she can barely stand from shock when she finds out he's taking her friend to buy a house. Both friends are stunned after hearing he was simply about to buy her a home. The trainer quickly adds up the cost in her mind and sees the guy was going to spend almost 1,000,000 yuan on her friend. Hearing this, she decides she really has to meet him and thinks she has even more to offer to catch a rich man than her friend does. The personal trainer then talks the other into swallowing. Their friend visits the house with motives that are quite obvious. Her friend quickly agrees and sends a message to the manager, offering her help as a real estate specialist. 40 minutes later, they get to the sales center. Everyone is amazed by the fancy and grand atmosphere of the place. Her friend waves at the manager, happy to see her after such a long time. Right away, the trainer asks to be introduced to the great catch her friend has found. The manager then introduces her friends, the personal trainer, and the car dealer. After that, she introduces our hero to her friends, and they look him up and down with clear interest. The trainer quickly makes a move, inviting him to try training at her gym and praising how he looks. He, being sharp, turns down the offer, saying he couldn't focus on exercise if she was there. The personal trainer sees he didn't mind her advances and thinks maybe they're not a commitment couple. With keen eyesight, she spots her friend's slightly scraped knees and figures that last night must have been something. The other friend also takes a chance and asks him to see the Ferrari shop, but he politely declines her as well. Our hero notices both of them are interested and thinks to himself if the manager is sure these are her friends. He thinks that having more women who like him means more sources of money he can rely on. The group goes into the sales center, catching the jealous looks of a couple present. The man mutters, trying to guess who the guy is showing off for, being surrounded by 3 women. A saleswoman comes over and offers to help, showing them the kinds of apartments they have in the catalog. He gets straight to the point, telling her he has $3 million to spend and wants the best choices she can give. The saleswoman asks him to go to the negotiation room for a better and more private presentation. The trainer is shocked by how much money it is, wondering what sort of rich man he really is. In her mind, a guy with money like that is a prize she must win no matter what. The saleswoman suggests a very large apartment, 165 square meters, for almost $3 million. The cafe manager feels it's too much, but our hero calms her, telling her not to think about the cost. He says that a bigger house is much nicer to live in, leaving her stunned at how giving he is. Her friends just watch, thinking he's the kind of good supporter you only see in stories. Using his negotiation skills, he tries for a better deal, saying he knows well there's always a way to lower the price. With a smart move, he skips the discounts and asks for 2 parking spots instead, showing he isn't just wealthy, but also clever. The trainer wants to win his favor even more. Impressed by how smart he is, he notices what she is trying and wonders about her aim. Quietly, the trainer fixes her dress strap and tries to use her charms to attract him. He glances at her and thinks she's really amazing, wondering what a one-on-one training would be like. But staying focused on the task, the man shifts back to working out the deal for the house. 30 minutes later, the saleswoman tells him that with parking spots, the total cost is $2,098,000. His friends can't believe that he bought the house and also put it under the cafe manager's name. The system tells him the mission is complete and the refund is given, making his bank account go over $15 million. On top of that, he gets the special reward, a fancy villa in a top 10 city. It's like winning an epic prize. The saleswoman gives her congratulations and asks for his phone number for more deals later, openly flirting. He quickly agrees to share contact details and shows her his phone for scanning the QR code. The trainer gets upset, feeling that the saleswoman is trying to take the reward meant for her. She comes over and says she might also want to buy a small apartment there. The personal trainer again says she can help him train, and he is happy to accept. Once everything is finished, he says goodbye to the manager and tells them he has other things to do so they can go enjoy themselves. The trainer is let down that he isn't staying for lunch, but the chase isn't finished yet. The manager's friends suggest they eat and have some coffee to keep relaxing today. The trainer agrees and is already making plans to get close to him later. 30 minutes later, at the college cafeteria, our main character sees Professor Lee having lunch alone. At nearby tables, a few students are talking quietly about how pretty and alone the professor is. She is talking on the phone about a project at the university and looks very worried. After the call, the professor looks angry because the project is not moving forward. He walks over and asks what is wrong, and she tells him all her frustrations with the university startup incubator. She says the school wants to help student business owners but doesn't have enough money. The professor mentions that while space and advising are given, they still need companies for funding. He asks what the school offers in return, and she answers only talent, feeling low. She isn't confident because the school has few ways to bring in big investors. The professor feels upset over all this and the pressure company bosses are putting on her. He thinks about giving money but feels uneasy since most college projects often don't work out. She can see he is interested and asks if he plans to play a part in the project. She says it might be worth it, but admits the project is not even started yet and there could be many problems. It's almost as if the system hears them, because a new mission appears: earn respect and status by putting money into university projects. He notices a great chance since the program takes care of the costs and there's no risk. Thinking like an investor, he asks who is in charge of checking the projects, the school or the investor, since he wants to make sure he is in control. The professor says that usually the school reviews the projects, but it's possible to discuss and change the rules. He gets straight to the point and offers to invest, if he can be the one to approve the projects. To show he was serious, he holds up his phone to display his bank account balance, leaving her very surprised. The professor can't believe it when she sees that his account has more than 15 million yuan. He repeats his usual story about making daring choices with cryptocurrency, and she is greatly impressed. She feels like the whole thing is unreal. A student of hers suddenly worth millions. Jokingly, he asks her to give up everything and travel the world with him, saying they could live in luxury. For a brief moment, the professor imagines such a life, running on the beach by his side enjoying the sunshine. But then she focuses and asks about the investment again, warning him that most student startups don't really make profit. He answers clumsily that his main interest is helping the university improve. The professor remembers when he asked her to run away together and wonders whether he was actually being serious. Feeling embarrassed, she reminds herself that he's only her student. He says goodbye, tells her he'll arrange things with the secretary, and asks her to consider his offer. Later, the cafe manager sends him a message with a picture of her that isn't exactly office appropriate. From across the yard, a classmate looks at him, wondering why she's still thinking about the adventures of the rich guy. As her friends gossip about our hero's roommate who keeps asking her out, one friend sensibly tells her to be careful, since dating him might cause rumors. Another friend, spotting trouble, warns them to quiet down because the guy is coming closer, almost like he's in a scary film. The classmate tries to rationalize, saying he's probably on his way to a part-time job. The curious friend suggests they figure out where he works, while the other one thinks that's crossing the line and way too nosy. Ignoring her friend's worries, one girl bravely walks over and directly asks where he works and if they can visit to cheer him up. Sensing they're being playful, he decides to take it in stride and invites them all to the cafe where he has a job. When they get there, both new managers are waiting excitedly to start working. The friends are stunned by how beautiful the women are, thinking they might have stepped out of a romantic comic. The trainer, not easily fooled, asks him about his supposed dedication, and he says the girls are just there for coffee, then shares the real news. He introduces the women as his new employees, which completely shocks his classmates. Calmly, he tells the staff member to take the girls' orders, adding, "It's on the house." The helpful employee invites them to take a seat, and they all sit down at a table. The classmates are stunned when they hear the worker call him boss. They finally understand. Feeling ashamed because of the mix-up, they quickly decide to leave and get out of the uncomfortable situation. One of them feels upset after being fooled and softly curses him as she goes out. He pretends nothing is wrong and asks why they left, and the trainer answers maybe they were nervous around so many important people. The personal trainer tells him to act better, but he ignores her and makes it clear he doesn't care about what others think. The cafe manager brings him a drink, and he puts on his charming side and tells her it's sweet just like she is. The trainer laughs at his cheesy line, but says that coming from a rich, handsome guy, it sounds very different. She's drawn to his charm, realizing he's great at flirting. The trainer changes topics and asks for his height and weight to work at his BMI and check his body. She is surprised that he's lost weight lately, and he jokes with her using hints. He says it's from working too hard, making the cafe manager blush because she knows what he means. The trainer smiles, understands right away, and is enjoying everything. She tells him to exercise more to gain muscle and get fitter, and says she can help him if he wants. He jokes with her, saying he'll consider it while she's hoping to hit her sales goal. The trainer says goodbye, shares that she has class, and mentions they'll meet again soon. Before she leaves, she winks at him, and our hero thinks to himself that he will tame her eventually. He quickly asks the manager if she wants some special training on the second floor, but she doesn't understand what he means. The guy pulls her in closer for a kiss, saying she needs a bit more practice to be perfect. He kisses her with all his affection, not caring that another worker is also in the cafe. The woman gives in to the kiss, enjoying it and forgetting her worries. The worker downstairs hears strange sounds from upstairs and wonders what kind of meeting is happening. The cafe manager says her boss's name in pleasure, completely caught up in the moment. The employee figures out what's going on upstairs, so she decides to close the cafe early, thinking not to interrupt their private time. At that time, the trainer returns to get the purse she left and finds the place closed, getting really annoyed. The employee tries to tell her what's happening, but the trainer ignores her and impatiently knocks on the door. Right then, she hears the sounds and figures out what's happening, surprised at how bold the couple is. 10 minutes later, she's still outside waiting, thinking about how much energy he has. The trainer licks her lips, thinking our hero really is a rare and strong individual. Deciding to give up, she says goodbye and leaves with a playful smile. When the cafe manager realizes everything, she guesses the trainer heard and feels very shy. He kisses her again and says that real training is better with someone watching. Somewhere else in the city, Secretary Liu asks if that student is really interested in investing in the startup incubator. Professor Li says yes, but the secretary, still suspicious, doubts he really has the money. She then says she checked his bank account herself and saw the guy has over 10 million yuan. The secretary is amazed by the amount and asks if the money isn't from his parents. The professor says all the money belongs to him and he controls it completely. The secretary then asks him to come to his office so he can hear the proposal himself. He is thinking to put the student in his place, so he doesn't start thinking he's too important. Our hero gets a call from Professor Li during his training with the manager. He answers, asking what she wants while still holding the manager in his arms. The guy quickly sees that the school wants to take control, so he decides to take charge himself. Without hesitation, he hangs up on the secretary, saying he's busy and they should arrange for another time. The professor can't believe his behavior, thinking the student is really bold. The secretary, meanwhile, is very angry at being treated so rudely by a student. He feels deeply insulted since even the student leaders always respect him a lot. Trying to calm things down, the professor suggests they invite him to dinner since he could be the investor. She says she will send him a message and will try a kinder, friendlier way. He gets the message and chooses to make them wait on purpose for stronger bargaining over the investment. The cafe manager, being very understanding, tells him he can go take care of it and they'll have dinner later. He watches her and thinks about how well she treats him and what a wonderful person she is. Suddenly his phone rings again. It's Menhua who is asking him to go for a walk. He jokes and says he thought she was going to ask him for a cold drink, but she says no. She tells him it's that time of the month and she can't have any drinks, but she can go for a walk if he really wants. Worried for her, he says he'll pick her up from the dorm to look after her. She hugs him, very happy he cares and isn't forcing her to go out. She kisses his cheek and says he's the kindest and most caring boyfriend ever. Taking the chance, the girl asks him about their relationship, wanting an official label. He kisses her and says it's obviously true they're a couple, making her really happy. Filled with happiness, the young woman hugs him and asks if he really loves her, and our hero shows it by giving her a kiss that says hello in every language. She then asks if she's his only girlfriend. Our hero answers yes at once, but the truth is there's a big asterisk on it that we know about. And that asterisk is there because actually, the others aren't girlfriends. They are called darlings and babes. It's like the classic love contract. To make her feel special about being the new official girlfriend, he promises her a reward for being understanding and offers to take her shopping like the rich. But he doesn't just mean a small present. No, he suggests she choose between a car or a house, making the girl extremely surprised and unsure how to react. But before going out to shop, he takes her back to the dorm room, acts like a caring boyfriend, and tells her to have a good rest. While he is on his way, the traffic light turns green, almost like the universe is telling him that everything is ready for his next big moments, dear main character. And talking about excitement, his phone vibrates with a text from the trainer, inviting him for a gym session. The young man, who always likes to joke, replies teasingly that the video she sent would only bother men with the wrong thoughts. The trainer grins, happy that he responded playfully and doesn't see her just as a stranger. To her, the opportunity for something more has just appeared. At the gym, the trainer meets a coworker who quickly asks why she is smiling so much so early in the morning. The trainer, keeping things secret, shares that there is a very important friend who showed up in her life. She then spills big news. She reveals that a friend got a sugar daddy who gave her a €3 million apartment as a present. Her colleague is shocked by how expensive that is, believing the man must be incredibly wealthy. Right away, she imagines an old, rich man straight out of a TV drama. But the trainer tells her the man is much better than her ex, who was very stingy. To completely surprise her, she says the man is young, good-looking, and tall. Basically, like the main character in a book. Her coworker, impressed, thinks her friend must be incredibly beautiful to have such a lucky chance. At that exact moment, we see a picture of the trainer and the cafe manager together, leaving no doubt about who is being talked about. Feeling confident, the trainer claims that both she and her friend are equally good-looking, but stand out in different ways. As if they were meant to meet, the hero messages the trainer, asking if she will go with him to help with the house papers. Without thinking once, the trainer cancels a class with her coworker and boldly tells her that her friend's sugar daddy just called her out. The coworker is surprised, starting to understand that the trainer is pretty much planning to take her best friend's boyfriend. However, in her mind, she admits that she would also take a chance if she found such a man. Who cares about friends, isn't it? At that exact time, a male coworker comes by and tries to ask her out, but she doesn't pay him any attention. The trainer gives him a clear look that says, "You can't keep up with me, buddy." 10 minutes after, the two coworkers spot our hero as his expensive car pulls up to get the trainer. Her coworker quickly breaks the other guy's mood, warning him not to expect anything because this man had just bought a 3 million yuan house for his girlfriend. The man is stunned by the price, trying to calculate how many years it would take for him to earn that much. Showing great manners, our hero opens the car door for the trainer, inviting her to get inside. That is when it all becomes clear for the coworker, and she is very surprised to see that the sugar daddy is really the once broke former rich guy from college. Life can really be surprising. On the other sidewalk, his ex-girlfriend is frozen in shock as she sees the man who could have been her wealthy husband leave in a fancy car. The trainer, always quick to act, gets close to him, even flirting directly without caring about the ex's shocked look. The ex-girlfriend feels desperate when she finds out too late that her ex-boyfriend, who once had no money, is now very rich. She must be feeling more regret than when his car door hit her. The coworker, who doesn't have much money, tries to cheer her up, but she ignores him and just keeps thinking about what could have happened. Things get even worse when a random man sends her a message asking her to visit him. Really upset, the ex-girlfriend takes out her anger on the man by yelling at him and blocking his number. The man who got blocked is left troubled and irritated, not knowing why she turned him down without a reason. The ex thinks about whether she can still get back with the man, feeling jealous and regretting her choice to leave him for someone worse. She even pictures herself joining a group with his other girlfriends, and wonders if there might still be a spot open for her. At the same time, In the car, the trainer talks about how nice the car is and suggests going camping somewhere rough to show she's adventurous. He likes the idea, saying they could do it later. With a playful look showing she's got other ideas, she calls him brave, and he calmly says he doesn't like playing by the rules. To make things more interesting, he invites her to play ball, and she right away understands what he means and says he's just joking with her. He insists that he really wants to play ball with her, making the trainer laugh at how he flirts. She laughs and calls him a tease again, but it's obvious she likes how bold and charming he is. After half an hour, the saleswoman at the sales office sees them coming and thinks Layman isn't as lucky as the trainer. The two arrive at the fancy villa, which is so beautiful that it seems like a picture from a postcard with many gardens and fountains. The trainer is amazed by how pretty the place is, acting as happy as a child in a sweet shop. In her mind, she's already living there and decides she will do her best to win him over. The saleswoman tells him that the villa is over 600 square meters, and they can decorate it however they want. The system, always kind, congratulates the hero and gives him $20 million for the house renovations, which is 2 times what the place is worth. The money just keeps coming. He happily takes the gift as usual from the system and gets ready to spend it all. He then asks the saleswoman if she knows any good companies in town for fixing up the house. Wanting to show off, the trainer asks if she can record a video to share on her social media page. He says yes, but tells her not to film his face and jokes about her followers. She shares proudly that she has more than 50,000 followers, most of them from around here. The young man, interested, asks if she has a lot of fans and tries to look inside her car. In a lighthearted way, he tells her that her fans get special content, while others only see the normal stuff. Going along with the good mood, our guy invites her to help make a review video for his bar, and she quickly says yes and is really excited. The trainer wonders if they're going back to the gym, but he's already planning something different. He brings up the idea of playing ball again, but she, pretending not to care, says he acts just like other men. Not bothered by what she says, our hero presses the pedal hard, enjoying how fast and thrilling the ride is. The trainer is caught off guard by the quick speed, but he comforts her with a confident smile. He jokes that if she cares so much about her friend, she should just take her spot. The trainer answers that he wishes, showing that she's not ready to give up so fast. In her mind, she feels that if she gives in too soon, it will make her look too easy, so she needs to go slow to keep his attention. Her plan is simple: tease him and make sure he puts in effort if he wants to be with her. When she gets to the gym, she says goodbye, tells him to visit anytime, and leaves. He says goodbye too, suggests they should play ball sometime, and watches her leave with a smile. From behind the glass door, the trainer looks at him with a curious smile. Already thinking about what to do next, she barely steps inside the gym before the manager gets onto her for missing work and not following her contract. She tries to explain, saying she had a personal emergency and even paid the client back twice as much. The manager responds that even after the money back, the client still made a formal complaint. The trainer sees that he's trying to trick her into something, but she doesn't let herself fall for it. She thanks him for the heads up and tries to go, but he pushes on, asking her to lunch. The personal trainer says no right away, explains she has her own food, and leaves without another word. In her imagination, she dreams of being carried by our hero, picturing a life full of comfort. The trainer thinks she's meant for something better and that nothing will stop her. In another room at the college, 2 secretaries talk about our hero's application to the startup incubator. They agree they need more details before making a big choice with so much money at stake. Secretary Kong wants to set up an early meeting with Professor Lee to talk more. The other secretary is surprised, since having them at a meeting would be huge news for the university. While that's happening, in the dorm, a worried classmate asks our hero for help with winning a girl over. Our main character checks the messages and sees his friend is more stubborn than a telemarketer. The classmate brags excitedly that she replies to all his messages now. Our hero, fed up with playing matchmaker, tells him to ask another person in the dorm for advice. The friend says no because he thinks our main character knows this stuff best in the dorm. The classmate won't stop, so our hero, just wanting him to go away, says he'll help. The friend cheers, sure that with his help he will win the girl. Suddenly, the door swings open and, like a film, secretaries and Professor Lee come in. The professor asks if our hero is there, and the classmate quickly says yes. The friend asks them inside, and another classmate starts to worry, thinking he might have broken a rule. To make it worse, the rival says our hero must be doing illegal things since he has so much money. The rival says his money can't be clean, and that the college staff are holding him until police show up. His roommate scolds him, but the rival, still jealous, tells him to just wait and see. The professor introduces our hero to the secretaries, and the classmate feels even more stressed. Much to everyone's surprise, Secretary Kong asks him to join for dinner, and our hero agrees right away. He takes this chance and brings up the topic of the startup incubator. While they eat, the classmates watch everything, still believing he is being investigated. His friend, though, is very impressed by how important he appears to be. The rival is shocked, understanding that our hero is now much more advanced than him. At the restaurant, Secretary Kong quickly asks him about his plans and what he wants. Our hero states that he will invest only if his terms are followed and the secretary agrees. His main request is to have full independence with investments without any school involvement. The other secretary is angry at his boldness, but Secretary Kong tells him to calm down and lets our hero speak. He explains that without money, the success rate doesn't matter and that they all have the same goals. Looking very confident, our hero drinks some wine, showing he controls things. In his mind, he wants to use the startup incubator to form his team of top workers. The young man knows the system's missions need a lot of women and the college is the right place to find them. The secretary says he must talk to the education leaders first, and our hero says he can wait. Dinner is over and the professor offers our hero a ride home since he drank a little. On the drive, she says his new car is very roomy. Impressed by how nice it is, he says he wanted something new instead of a sedan and chose an SUV this time. The professor gets a call from her sister, who cancels on helping with her move. Our hero hears the talk and asks if she's moving, and she says yes, her old lease ended. Being helpful, he offers to help her move, but she says no, thinking it's not proper. He keeps insisting, saying it's normal for a student to help their teacher. The professor feels a bit shy, noticing for the first time that he is good-looking and charming. She remembers the bag he gave her, and realizes it must be real, and he might like her. The woman asks him about the bag, and he says he remembers the present. He plainly says the bag was original, a gift for the professor he likes. She blushes after hearing the confession, and he tries to make light of it, saying it was just a respectful gift. The professor feels unsure since she's older and he's her student. He tells her to focus on driving and assures her that he won't give up. When they arrive at her place, she asks if he is going home to sleep, and he replies that he's heading back to the dormitory. The professor suggests he leave the car there and get it tomorrow, handing him the keys. Suddenly, he boldly kisses her, taking her by surprise. She thinks to herself how bold he has gotten, kissing her out of nowhere. The professor calls him a bad student and runs inside, feeling flustered and with her heart beating fast. Once things calm down, he gets a call from the cafe employee asking him to open the door for the previous owner. Suddenly, the previous cafe owner appears and apologizes for bothering him, saying she left her son's toys behind. He politely lets her in, assures her it's fine, and says she can take her time searching. The woman enters the cafe and feels a strong sense of longing, as if reliving one of her happiest memories. She begins searching for her son's toys, which are scattered throughout the cafe. Our hero looks at her with interest and asks how old her son is, just to start a conversation. While she looks, he comes across a wine bottle and wonders if she used to drink by herself here. She says she found everything and gets ready to go, but he sees that she seems a little unsure. The former owner admits she's sentimental and is reminded of all the good days she had in the cafe. Seeing her sadness, he tells her she can visit anytime she likes. It's just an open invitation. With a mysterious look, she replies she might not be able to return, and he wisely suggests they have a drink together. She pauses, but he encourages her, saying there's nothing wrong with relaxing over a drink. He pours the wine and goes straight to the question, asking why she is so sad, already suspecting it has to do with her family. Our main character then shares that he has learned about her husband and what happened with his own employee. The woman is shocked to realize he knows about the incident, already fearing the worst result. He quickly tries to calm her down, saying her husband reacted quietly with the employee. The previous owner then shares her feelings, revealing she was already planning to file for divorce and had proof against her husband. She wishes she never married him, but admits she's scared to go ahead because of their son. Taking a caring approach, he tells her to make the best choice, thinking about her son's happiness in the long run. The woman agrees, noting to herself that he is more mature and kind than she thought. He adds to this by saying that being with a good-looking man can cheer anyone up. Suddenly, like a scene from a TV drama, she kisses him, leaving our main character very surprised. He stands there, puzzled by what the kiss might mean, while she simply walks out, leaving him confused. As she leaves, the former owner blames the kiss on the wine and feels pleased with her actions. He, still thinking over everything, contacts the cafe manager to say he'll spend the night at her place. 20 minutes later, she welcomes him to her home, surprised at how much alcohol he consumed. He lies, saying it was a dinner with school staff and he had to join the drinking. She, very caring, helps him settle down and offers to make tea to help him feel better. The guy hugs her from behind, asking for a warm embrace before anything else. She, already doubting, asks what he is up to, but he promises he just wants a hug. The woman feels she's being fooled, thinking of all the times he's made excuses for his actions. She doubts his honesty, but he doesn't care, keeping his arms tightly around her. He acts like the upset one, asking if she's lost trust in him, and the woman finally agrees to sleep with him. Our hero believes she's still quite traditional, but also thinks there are different ways to enjoy the night. Acting very well, he fakes being cold and sneezes, making her look at the air conditioner. She suggests changing the temperature, but he tells her it's fine, having another idea in mind. He brings her close and says there's no need to change anything if they share a blanket. He hugs her under it, surprising her with how close they suddenly are. He smiles, says he's warm now, and she sighs with happiness, totally caught in the moment. In the morning, he finds a nice note from her letting him know she has already gone to the cafe. He is hardly awake when he gets a message from the trainer, asking him to come work out at the gym. He puts away his phone, thinking the manager's best friend is being very direct. The trainer teases him, and he gets annoyed by her suggestive attitude. He feels the woman is flirting openly but tries to act calm like a main character. All of a sudden, Professor Lee calls him, cutting off his video chat with the trainer. He ends the trainer's call, saying he has more important things to do. The professor tells him his investment idea was accepted and that the paperwork will be ready soon. Our guy, always planning ahead, asks to add height, weight, and a photo to the application forms. Though the professor thinks the extra request is unusual, she agrees. He hangs up, ready to keep moving forward and enjoy the day. The professor then asks for his help with moving, and he happily agrees as a good student would. About 30 minutes later, he gets another call from the trainer, who is now getting impatient because he is late. He explains that he is tied up with meetings for the villa designs, but he can tell she is doubtful. The trainer jokes about being a bother and asks him to join her even though he says he's busy. Since it's hard to shake her off, he says yes and thinks her help could even benefit the meetings. The personal trainer celebrates getting her way, telling him she'll wait at the gym so they can leave together. While our hero is waiting outside, a stranger comes over and asks if he's waiting for a girl. The guy brags about his fancy car and says it takes more than that to win over a goddess. With a proud attitude, he suggests our hero should keep trying, using his car to prove his own luck with women. Just then, the trainer shows up looking stunning, and the man recognizes her at once. Without hesitating, the man asks her out, but she ignores him and only pays attention to our hero. The trainer shuts him down firmly, saying she already has plans with a friend and that he isn't on her level. The man desperately tries to come along, but our protagonist stops him and says he doesn't eat with people who drive G-Wagons. That's a pretty solid rejection. He opens the door for the trainer in a polite way, and she gets inside, leaving the other man standing there with a puzzled look. The personal trainer even waves goodbye with a proud smile, and the man is left looking both surprised and angry about being embarrassed in public. He wonders how the other man was able to attract her with just an M9 while he, with his G-Wagon, did not even come close. While in the car, the trainer says that the man is a top customer at the dealership, but she never cared about all his efforts to get her attention. She pouts, and our main character sees that she's a bit quieter than usual. He asks what she wants him to say, and the trainer answers that he looks different from normal, sort of more serious. Our guy, forever joking, says that men feel most thrilled when they are hike exercising. Quickly, she calls him a pervert, but he responds that he meant playing basketball. She calls him a pervert again, and he repeats that he was talking about basketball. Let's just act like we believe him, okay? The trainer then brings up what happened at the cafe, and he figures out she won't forget that event for a long time. To switch topics, he asks why she seems to have more free time now. The woman tells him she felt bad for making him wait earlier and wants to make up for it. He jokes and says she can treat him to a few meals as payback. Later that day, they meet the head designer to talk at last about renovating the villa. The designer shows 3 styles created using the budget and choices he described. The trainer is amazed by them and curiously asks how much he plans to spend. He casually says his budget is 20 million, and that totally stuns her. The trainer is in shock, calculating his wealth and realizing he probably has at least 100 million yuan. Hearing this, she starts acting even more boldly, thinking she should work harder if she wants to win him over. 15 minutes later, he picks the new Chinese style and asks the designer to adjust the project to match. The designer, trying to make the VIP customer happy, invites him to have dinner with the firm's general manager, but he feels unsure, thinking it might be too early. She quickly sees that he isn't just any rich guy and realizes she needs to treat him with a lot of respect. The designer calls the manager and says our hero will be joining him for dinner. The manager is excited, sure this is a perfect way to finish the deal and keep such a great customer. To make sure everything goes well, he asks the company's very best employee to join them for the dinner. Back in the car, the trainer starts complaining about the heat and tries anything she can to get him to notice her. He says he isn't feeling warm and asks what they should do next, making sure not to let any of her tricks distract him. She then says she will be his shadow for a day, going everywhere with him. He jokes back, saying his shadows usually stick with him all day and night. The trainer, not bothered at all, agrees, saying she's fine with spending the whole day with him. At that moment, she gets a call from a friend asking where she is and who she's with. Her friend invites her out, but the trainer happily says she's in her hero's car. The friend is surprised they're together and asks when that started. The trainer says she's just helping him with the villa's renovation plans. Her friend can't believe it when she finds out he's going to spend more than 30 million on the house and fixing it up. She feels left out, thinking all her friends are advancing in life. The woman complains about her luck, joking if her chest size is the reason. To top off the episode with a big cliffhanger at the restaurant, the trainer's ex-fling bumps into none other than the design company's manager. It seems the universe likes coincidences. The manager tells him he has an important dinner but will come back to have a drink with him later. The ex-fling wastes no time and quickly starts eyeing the cute girl with the manager, feeling an immediate attraction. Just then, our hero walks in with the trainer, and the manager greets him warmly, saying, "Welcome, my esteemed client." Not wasting time, the manager welcomes him and directly asks if the lovely trainer is his girlfriend. Our guy says no, telling him they are just good friends, which makes the trainer a bit upset. The manager, polite as always, greets her, and she forces a smile, still thinking about the just friends comment. The trainer gets angry that he denied their relationship, but like an actress, she tries to stay calm and not show her anger. The manager then introduces his design assistant, a pretty and shy young woman who looks like she could be from a Mo anime. He greets her, honestly amazed by how pretty and pure she looks, which is very different from other girls he knows. The manager, experienced in business, notices the assistant left a strong impression and feels sure it will be easier with the client now. The head designer, sticking to the plan, tells the assistant to toast with our hero, and she quickly does what she's told. The young woman, still shy and embarrassed, lifts her glass to toast the guy, who watches her with interest. Seeing some jealousy, the trainer asks him for a drink together, but he refuses. He acts concerned, like a boyfriend, telling her she needs to drive later and shouldn't drink. The trainer feels so happy that he cares, it almost seems like they really are a couple. The design assistant, still nervous, toasts with him again and almost drops her glass. Being kind, he suggests she switch to tea, which helps calm her down. The manager urges her to spend time with him, saying as young people they probably share a lot. To help them become friends, he suggests she add our guy on WeChat. The trainer quickly figures out the manager's trick. He's clearly using the assistant as bait to finish the deal. The ex-fling, who is smart, joins the manager for a toast and points out that his client must be very important. But his attention never leaves the design assistant. He is totally drawn in by her beauty and innocence. The manager now introduces his nephew, the ex-fling, to our hero, not knowing about their history. The nephew thinks becoming friends with a wealthy person like him would be useful for showing off at gatherings. He moves in to say hello, but our hero recognizes him right away and ignores him. With confidence, our guy suggests a toast, making it clear who's in charge. The nephew is angry that he has to toast with the person he believes took his girl. The manager senses the strong tension and asks if they know each other. The response they share says it all. To make things even tenser, the manager shares that our hero has bought a villa and is spending 20 million on repairs. The nephew is shocked, unable to understand how the once poor guy gained so much wealth so quickly. He feels much smaller and less important compared to his rival's huge success. With no better option, the nephew decides to forget his pride and joins his uncle in trying to please the new wealthy guy in town. After 3 hours of eating and complimenting, the manager asks our hero to join them at a bar or Carrick lounge. The trainer hesitates, pretending that she needs to go to bed early and get up early like a Disney princess. He notes her unease and kindly tells her not to go, thinking it's best for her health. But the trainer is really anxious about him being left alone with the design assistant. She already imagines the manager getting our hero slightly drunk and pushing him toward the assistant. The trainer pictures the two of them together in her mind and worries she might miss her big chance with him. She sees in her mind the guy drunk and not in control, doing something to the innocent assistant. The trainer regrets her thoughts, picturing the assistant wanting him to stop. She becomes even more worried, deciding this can never happen. Unmoved, the trainer gets up and says she has to leave, ready to stop things from going wrong. We move to the cock bar, where everyone's having fun, singing and drinking late. The design assistant, already a bit drunk, gets ready to toast with our hero once more. He politely refuses the drink, saying that's enough for him, and warns her not to overdo it. The young woman thanks him, truly grateful that he's not forcing her to drink more like other men have done. She feels stuck since she needs this internship and can't just leave. The trainer, who ends up staying, asks him why he even cares if she goes or not. She figures out that her flirtation doesn't work on him, and in the end, she lost at her own game. The design assistant wants to help pick a song for him, and he agrees. The trainer, feeling jealous, jokingly says he's looking at the other girl very intensely. He answers honestly that he looks at her only with desire and doesn't have any real feelings for her. The guy tells her that in the end, things always turn out the same no matter what got his attention in the beginning. He makes sure she understands by quietly telling her that in the end, it always leads to the bedroom. The trainer gets embarrassed but admits that at least he's truthful, not like other men. She tries to leave but he holds on to her, not stopping his teasing. The car manager says the assistant picked a new song for the hero, breaking the mood. At the end of the evening, the manager says goodbye, glad to have made friends with someone young and impressive. The hero praises the design company and tells them he'll seriously think about choosing them for the makeover. The manager leaves with the head designer, while the main character wonders where the assistant is. The head designer says goodbye too, promising that she'll make sure the assistant, who drank too much, gets home safely. He offers to get a car for the trainer, but she has something else in mind and doesn't accept it. The guy says he'll just check into a hotel, and she asks, surprised at how straightforward he's being. He jokes, asking if she wants him to stay over at her place, which makes her embarrassed. The trainer realizes that if she doesn't do something, another woman might take the man for herself. She goes up to him confidently, and just like in anime, the affection score quickly climbs to 75, showing how much she truly likes him. He's caught off guard by how fast the score rises, not knowing what he did to earn so many points at one time. Acting normal, he offers again to call her a car, but the trainer decides to stay with him. She gets frustrated at his cluelessness, thinking, what doesn't he understand about me wanting to be with him? He gets the hint and asks if she wants to switch hotels with him, and she quickly agrees, looking forward to the night. On the way, the trainer feels nervous, hoping he'll be at least a bit kinder than he was with her friend. Off to the side, a man stares at them, jealous of the main character's fancy lifestyle and the beautiful woman by his side. When they get to the city's fanciest hotel, he casually asks for the executive suite for a whole month, just as simply as ordering a drink. The trader is surprised by this, not expecting that he would stay in such a nice hotel for so long. He pays the full bill without hesitation, thinking that because of the system's triple rewards, he won't really spend anything. The woman, paying close attention, catches the meaning behind the room number and gets more interested because he is so daring. Inside the suite, she looks at the city lights, amazed by how nice and fancy everything is. For a second, she feels a bit bad for her friend, but hopes that tonight is the start of something better for herself. He comes up beside her and quietly tells her that to him, she's the only one, and now it's their turn to have some fun. The woman becomes startled when she sees the curtains are open, worried that someone might look inside. He tells her not to worry since they're on the 52nd floor and only someone with Superman's powers could see them. With no more doubts, they give in to their feelings while enjoying the amazing view. The next morning, he wakes up recharged after an eventful and very good night. He watches her sleeping, thinking about how sensitive she is and that deep down he was looking out for her. The trainer wakes up, sees him already awake, and asks if he's ready for another session, saying he looks prepared. He jokes that he held back for her, but she calls him rough and asks to sleep a bit more. To reward her for the great night, our guy offers to buy her a car worth up to 3 million yuan. She is completely stunned by this offer. She can't believe she can just choose any car she wants. The trainer hugs and kisses him, telling him she loves him and thanking him for such a generous present. He wonders how the coffee shop manager would feel if she knew he was spending so much on her best friend. Without hesitating, she chooses a Porsche costing over 2 million, and he agrees to buy it right away. The trader then casually mentions that the coffee shop manager prefers Maseratis, and he looks thoughtful at this. She notices his thoughtful look and asks if he's considering buying a car for the manager too. He says yes, which makes the trainer feel a little jealous. The trainer feels like the luckiest woman alive, but is satisfied with her own gift. She doesn't want to ask for more. Later, the trainer's friend asks about last night, and she comes up with a random excuse to keep it a secret. The coffee shop manager then accuses her of acting too flirty and trying to attract him in front of everybody. Another friend only complains about her own situation, thinking the other two are doing really well. Our hero tells her to choose her car and send him the account info so he can pay for it. The trader agrees, happy and blushing as her affinity increases to 86. Mission done. Seeing the number, he realizes her points are close to 90, so her last reward is almost here. Suddenly, the coffee shop manager invites him to try out a new recipe she made, using food to tempt him. He says he's busy, but to make it up to her, tells her he's planning to buy her a car, leaving her very surprised. She, always the reasonable one, turns it down, saying she already owns a car and he doesn't have to spend so much on her. But he keeps insisting, saying he enjoys buying things for his woman and that luckily money isn't a problem. He even adds that her car can't be less than 2 million, shocking her with how over the top he is. Suddenly changing topics, he decides to be direct and asks her if she would be upset if something happened between him and the trainer. The coffee shop manager, nervous, admits she would care, but she'd rather not know the truth if it would make her sad. He, always good with words, reassures her, saying no one else matters as much as she does and that she can't be replaced. The guy promises he only said that to calm her down because he started her jealousy. She says she trusts him and that the only thing she wants is for him to visit her at the coffee shop sometimes. He feels blessed to have her since she is the only one who ever tries to help him save money. The man promises to make things right with her and she goes along playfully by teasing him about his troublesome ways. The coffee shop manager laughs at him and hangs up, saying she has to get back to work. After ending his call, he starts to think about how some men can date several women without getting caught. Meanwhile, Professor Lee is lifting heavy boxes, sweating as she tries to pack up for her move. Like a real hero, he shows up to lend a hand and she smiles at him with relief. He doesn't even ask, just grabs the boxes from her, telling her that she shouldn't hurt herself. But there was something he didn't expect. That box was full of her most private things, which made him feel very awkward. The young man feels shocked and very embarrassed when he sees just how personal the things inside the box are. Things get worse when the box falls over, and Professor Lee's underwear and clothes scatter all over the stairs, just like in a romantic comedy. For a moment, he daydreams about her wearing that lingerie and posing in ways the school would not approve. The professor sees where he's looking and jokingly asks him which color he likes best, making him turn even more red. She quickly picks up her things and tells him to help with other boxes and not to have any strange thoughts. Gathering up her things, her face turns bright red from embarrassment. Just then, her sister walks up and says they'll need to make 2 trips to finish moving their stuff. The younger sister keeps giving him her usual suspicious stare, but the main guy, used to this treatment, isn't bothered anymore. The professor asks if he can drive to the new place, and he quickly agrees, eager to help. While they drive, she says sorry for her sister's behavior, but he says it's fine and actually finds her a little nicer now. Next, the professor tells him why her sister acts so distant. She once had a boyfriend who broke her heart in a very cruel way. She tells him that her sister caught her boyfriend with another girl right outside a hotel before they even went inside. After being hurt like that, her sister stopped trusting men, avoiding relationships and becoming cold. Our hero is surprised by the story and calls her ex-boyfriend a terrible person. The professor decides to tease him and asks if he isn't just as skilled at playing with hearts. He quickly argues back, claiming he's the most honest man in the world, then asks her what she thinks of men. Without holding back, he asks what she thinks of him, making her really flustered. The professor gets embarrassed, her heart starts to beat fast, and she doesn't know what to say. She asks him to repeat himself and, realizing he took things too far, he covers it up, saying he was just joking with her. He calms her down, saying that he was only messing around to tease her. She thinks to herself that if he were serious, she really wouldn't know what to say or do. When they arrive at the new house, the professor offers him food as thanks, but he kindly says no. Then she moves closer, gives him a sly look, and asks how she can really thank him, and before she can finish, he kisses her deeply and she kisses him back, completely giving in to the moment. Though the professor tries to pull away at first, he gently keeps her in his arms and the kiss doesn't stop. Suddenly, as if fate wants to step in, her sister shows up and knocks at the door, not having any idea what's going on inside. The professor quickly pulls away looking quite surprised and tells her not to worry, saying he will answer the door. She says she can't move and he kindly offers to help her pull herself together. The sister walks in and asks why her face is so red, and the professor gives her the lamest excuse possible. She says she needs to lie down for a while her sister looks at her with an expression that says, "I know exactly what you did last summer." Changing the topic, the woman tells him about the student council assistant in the office the school assigned him. He says goodbye, saying he's going to talk to the assistant and doesn't want to disturb them any longer. As soon as he leaves, the sister asks her what she really thinks about him, eager to know what her older sister feels. The professor tries to avoid the question, but her sister continues, saying his intentions are as clear as any Disney movie ending. The sister teases her about having spring fever and warns her about how little she trusts him. The younger one wants to know if she's against any of this, and the professor is silent, feeling very embarrassed. The sister tells her to stay alert and see if he's really worth her time before letting herself fall for him. The professor just stands still thinking of him, her heart beating fast and her face red from embarrassment. An hour later in the school cafeteria, our hero watches her from a distance, deep in thought. A girl calls to him, and he turns around surprised to see his new assistant already there waiting for him. He asks if she's waited long, and the girl smiles sweetly saying she just arrived. He compliments her voice, saying it sounds different than the one on the radio, and she tells him why. Taking a chance, he asks if she'll help him with things other than the committee, and she quickly says yes. He comes closer to her, getting ready to keep the talk going, and maybe get even closer to her. Suddenly, a classmate arrives with tea and acts as the third wheel. The girl asks who he is, and the guy gives his name, glaring at our hero with jealousy. He notices the classmate's mean look and is entertained by this new rivalry between them. The young woman refuses the drink, saying she's staying away from sugar, but the guy tries again and still won't give up. She gets irritated with how pushy he is, but the guy keeps trying to win her over. Other students watch the group, already talking about the possible love triangle that's starting. Just then, our hero's actual girlfriend arrives and asks why everyone is staring at them. Right away, she runs up to him, ready to show she's the girlfriend and wanting to see how the other girl reacts. The girlfriend hugs him closely, while the other girl steps back, feeling a bit shy about meeting her rival. He explains that he was just talking about committee work with his classmate, and she pretends to believe it. The girlfriend jokes, asking if he's planning to flunk everything since he's spending so much time on the committee. The other girl quickly understands she's not needed in the talk and decides to go, leaving the couple together. He says goodbye to her, and his girlfriend watches her leave while smiling proudly. The other students talk about what happened, saying it looked like something from a soap opera. Still feeling jealous, the girlfriend questions him about what they were talking about. He tells her it was about the entrepreneurship center, and she notices how possessive she's being. The girlfriend says goodbye, mentioning she has a class and reminds him they haven't met in 2 days. Before leaving, she gets close to him, tells him she would like something iced today, then leaves giving him a playful look. Watching her walk away, he thinks that she is an adorable person who always wants more. As soon as she leaves, he gets a call from the trainer who tells him what the final price of the car she chose will be. Getting straight to the point, the trainer offers to come to the hotel with 2 different outfits for him to pick from, He pretends not to know what's going on, but she insists, saying he'll get it when he shows up. He can't decide, thinking about who he should spend tonight with. There's the manager, his girlfriend, or the trainer. He feels stressed with all the choices and wonders if picking all three would work best. Meanwhile, at Professor Lee's house, her sister asks if they'll be making dinner at home. The professor agrees and suddenly suggests inviting him over as a way to repay him. She gets embarrassed after suggesting it, but her sister encourages her to message him. Her sister explains they just want to thank him for helping them with the move. There's nothing special about it. The professor thinks about his rebellious side, and for a second feels drawn to him. Her sister jokes that she's putting him to the test to see what he's really like. The professor finally starts to call him, while her sister gives her a knowing and teasing smile. She sends him a message inviting him for dinner to thank him, giving him yet another option for the evening. He feels really stressed with so many invitations and decides that he must turn some down or he'll lose peace of mind. When he gets to the professor's house, she welcomes him and says dinner will take a little while. He comes in and feels immediately comfortable in the nicely decorated and very cozy space. He is surprised by how fast the professor made the place feel like a home. He asks about her sister and the professor tells him with a smile that she's in the shower. The professor, feeling uneasy about how close they are, tells him not to come any nearer, but he says he only wants to help. She asks him to go to the living room, but he is stubborn and wants to stay in the kitchen to keep her company. He moves in a bit closer, and the professor, getting more nervous, says they're close enough already. He gives a slight grin and says they're still half a meter away and then asks about her real intentions. Not waiting for her reply, he hugs her and she quickly tells him her sister is home as she tries to stop him from moving forward. He kisses her, saying her sister will be a long time in the shower and that they still have lots of time. The professor tries to hold back, but he keeps going, leaving her out of breath because of how daring he is. As if chaos is planned, at that moment, her sister steps out of the shower and stops their private moment. Staying calm, he tells her not to worry and softly pushes her away. She warns him not to do that again, and he comforts her saying he understands her feelings. At dinner, he praises the meal and the sister goes into full investigation, starting to ask a lot of questions. The younger sister asks about how many girlfriends he has had, and he answers that he only had 2. In his mind, he thinks, 2 that everyone knows, the rest are a secret. The sister worries about his past, afraid he might not be good for the professor who is not that experienced. He thinks if she knew about all his relationships, she would probably panic at the table. The sister keeps asking things about his family and if he has brothers or sisters. After 10 minutes, he notices that she is actually trying to learn more about him, not just judge. He smiles, feeling that his future sister-in-law is starting to warm up to him, which he thinks is good. To see what will happen, he touches her foot under the table, shocking the professor with his nerve. She gets upset, thinking he misjudged her bravery. Worried about her sister, the professor quickly comes up with an excuse to go to the kitchen to wash some fruit. The sister notices the older one is quieter than normal and asks her with suspicion. He says goodbye, telling them he has things to take care of and must get ready for his next challenge. Once he leaves, the sister tells her to test him more to see his real goals. The professor says that he is actually older in mind but also very, very bold sometimes. At the manager's apartment, she asks him why he was in such a hurry to leave work early. He jokes that the night will make up for the early out. She puts on her work clothes, wondering why men find these things so interesting. With a sly grin, he says one day she will get it and leans in close. He kisses her deeply and she kisses him back, fully enjoying the moment. Her trust grows to 90 and he notices that these jumps in her level really help him gain experience. The system congratulates him for finishing the quest and he's excited to find out what the special reward is. He gets a little taller, receives a car buying credit, and a new skill pack. He got everything. Right away, he uses his new skill and gets ready for a tough but exciting night with the manager. She is surprised by how much he changes. Not feeling sure about what's happening, he jokes that this is the answer to her questions about guys' interests. The woman feels unusual, like there is something missing inside her, and she asks him about it. He asks in what way he feels different, and she answers that it is a very, very positive difference. The guy promises there will be more surprises later, and she moans with joy, excited for what's coming. He feels that her current reaction is the best compliment a man can get from a woman. Curious, he looks through the skill pack, surprised to see choices like cooking and hairdressing. Without any hesitation, our hero picks the combat skill, believing it could be useful if anything dangerous happens. He then thinks about using the appliance repair skill to connect with the professor. In his mind, the professor thanks him for fixing something, and he feels happy he made this choice. She offers to wipe the sweat from his forehead, and he enjoys this intimate moment. He realizes at the end that picking the appliance repair skill was actually the smartest idea. The guy wonders who will next reach level 90 favorability. Suddenly, the manager at the coffee shop gets a call from her mother, who sounds upset about their family state. She tries to calm her mom and tells her to call if anything happens, but she ends the call still worried. He comforts her, and she tells him that her dad had a stroke due to drinking. The woman blamed herself, thinking that her father wouldn't have drunk as much if she'd agreed to the blind date. He reassures her, saying he will go with her when she visits her dad at the hospital. She is unsure, since their relationship isn't official yet, and bringing him to meet her family feels odd. The guy, always willing to help, offers money for hospital costs, and she is grateful. The next day, he sees a note from her which says she needed to go home quickly. He gets a text from his assistant and wonders why she's contacting him so early. She sends pictures of office furniture and he lets her pick, since he trusts her taste. He's pleased with her taking initiative, thinking he chose the right employee. The assistant is interrupted by her persistent classmate who keeps insisting on helping even though she said no. She tells him off, reminding him he isn't needed and isn't in the student council. The classmate complains, saying he can't compete with someone richer or more attractive. The assistant thinks that with so much money, our hero must be worth hundreds of millions. She decides to work as hard as she can to stand beside him. At the same time, in her hometown, the manager finds out her father isn't in the hospital and she's been tricked. Her mother admits she lied to bring her home for an arranged blind date. A Nosian woman introduces her to a candidate saying he's worth meeting. The aunt talks up the guy, sharing that he owns a company and already owns both a house and a car. The man shows off about having a 5 Series car, wanting her to notice his wealth. The coffee shop manager even says something nice about the car, but she clearly thinks she has seen nicer ones before. The suitor gives her a gold ring as a welcome present, and the aunt comments on his kindness. The aunt and her mother get excited, believing he will be a wonderful and rich son-in-law. The coffee shop manager, upset with how everything is going, takes her mother aside for a private talk, clearly annoyed. Her mother tells her off, saying she isn't welcoming enough to the guest of honor. She gets tired of being compared, and lets her mother know she doesn't want to discuss it anymore. Not seeing any way out, she contacts our hero to explain her situation and asks for his help. The manager feels surprised when she hears he is on his way to her place and wonders what he will do. She tells her mother that a friend will visit, and her mother, feeling suspicious, asks if the friend is male or female. Her father, unaware of the situation, lifts a glass with the suitor, complimenting him, and saying that they look great together. 15 minutes later, our hero shows up with lots of gifts, surprising everyone as he arrives. To make everything clear, he calls himself her boyfriend, making the whole family stunned. The suitor and aunt are stuck in place, not knowing how to handle the rival's sudden appearance. Her mother asks how come she never mentioned her boyfriend. Shocked by what they just heard, our guy, wanting to prove a point, opens a jewelry box and shares that he brought a few small gifts for her parents. He also says that they will be family someday, impressing her parents even more. The girl's parents are too shocked to speak, thinking about the price of all these expensive gifts. He answers very casually, as if it doesn't mean anything to him. He says it costs about $300,000, leaving everyone in the room stunned. The family cannot believe the price, thinking that most people would never say that without any concern. Feeling tricked, the suitor asks the aunt why she never told him that the girl had a boyfriend already. The man now feels embarrassed, thinking the gifts he brought are almost a joke in comparison. Desperately, he claims the boyfriend may not be real and offers to check his background. The aunt meanwhile keeps looking at the jewelry box, amazed at how rich their possible new relative is. She asks about his age, and our hero calmly says he is 21, which stuns her even more. The aunt doubts it, thinking it is impossible for a 27-year-old woman to date someone so young. Her parents look at each other with suspicion but choose to stay silent and see what unfolds. He calmly shares that he does some extra work in finance and other businesses. Wanting to call his bluff, the aunt asks if he owns any house where he could marry her niece. The suitor thinks that this time he has gone too far and will be found out as a fake. The aunt accuses him of pretending, reminding them that honesty is important in any relationship. Her parents now worry, believing the young man just wants to show off. But right as he seems trapped, the coffee shop manager shows everyone the deed to the house he purchased for her. Checkmate. The aunt, acting as doubtful as a drama character, questions if the deed is real, thinking he just made up a document to impress them. Without showing any emotion, our hero sends $1 million to her account to decorate the house, leaving her shocked. The coffee shop manager is surprised by the transfer, saying the decorations won't cost nearly that much. The entire family is stunned, staring at the phone and counting the zeros to confirm it really is $1 million. The aunt takes the phone for a better look and sees herself that the transfer is completely real. To make things worse, he says it's just a small amount and she's free to spend the rest as she likes. The suitor, feeling completely embarrassed, admits he lost, feeling regret and humiliation. But being clever, he decides to stay connected, thinking having a wealthy friend could help him someday. Our hero also mentions that her house is worth $3 million, while his own villa is only $10 million. The aunt understands now that he knows how to treat people well, and he's a great choice for her niece. She feels ashamed and says sorry for how she acted earlier and starts speaking to him with a lot of respect. He kindly tells her not to worry and says they're all family now, so there's no need for apologies. Her parents thank him for being thoughtful and are thrilled about having a rich son-in-law. Soon after, the manager's younger sister arrives and her mother welcomes her excitedly. The coffee shop manager tells her sister that our hero is her brother-in-law, and her sister greets him shyly. He looks at her and thinks she is as pretty as her sister, just younger. At dinner, he raises a toast to her parents and asks them to come see the house and the new car. The aunt is surprised to see that he is giving gifts not only to his girlfriend, but also to her parents. The girl's parents are amazed, overwhelmed by their generous new son-in-law. He mentions that the house might look empty since no one visits often. The coffee shop manager, touched, promises to visit her parents more, making them very happy. That night, she tells him thanks for everything, and he says it's the least he can do for his girlfriend. She says thanks again, and he hugs her, saying she's his and he'll always care for her. With a playful smile, he asks if her parents will let them sleep together, and she instantly refuses. She tells him he has to sleep in the guest room, but later she will join him when all are asleep. At 11 p.m., she sneaks into his room and asks if he is still awake. He answers he wasn't thinking of sleeping before talking to her, with a smile that shows he knows what will happen. He tells her she understands him perfectly and pulls her onto the bed. Meanwhile, her sister wakes up and goes to his room to find out what is happening. She hears noises from inside the room and can't believe what she starts to imagine. The sister puts her ear to the door, listens to the sounds, and feels really embarrassed. Her cheeks flush red. Surprised by how loud it is, the young woman thinks her brother-in-law is very impressive. Amazed by what she hears, she gulps, feeling both curious and embarrassed in a way she never has before. The sister thinks she has heard enough and leaves for her own room, stunned by the experience. An hour and a half later, the coffee shop manager calmly returns to her sister's room as if nothing has happened. She wants to know why her sister is still up, and the younger woman, needing attention, hugs her. The sister says she wants to sleep hugged together, and the coffee shop manager happily says yes. She hugs her and wishes her a good night, and they lie close in bed. The coffee shop manager thinks about how much her sister has matured. She feels really protective. At the office, the assistant asks if he wants any changes, and he praises her for being good at her job and attractive, thinking she would be an excellent personal assistant. The young woman then shows the first set of applications for the startup incubator. He takes the applications to check, ready to start judging his classmates' projects. He gets annoyed with how edited the pictures are, thinking everyone is trying too hard with Facetune, and decides to skip the photos and read the business ideas instead. He cares more about the ideas than how people look. Then the young man finds someone who wants to open a sexy lingerie shop at school. It's a brave pitch, and he throws out the weak applications, thinking he shouldn't play around with other people's money. For a bit, he dreams about living in luxury, trying his best to make all the women around him happy. He feels he needs actual business knowledge and that the incubator is a fine place to start. The young man already hopes to grow his small business into something big one day. He wants to become famous for helping society, not just for being rich and popular, so he turns all the proposals down, saying they aren't practical and need to come up with better ones. The assistant smartly points out that maybe the issue is having too few applications. Then he asks her to do more promotion to bring in better applicants. She says she'll talk about it on the school radio and post online so more students hear about the program. The young man also brings up doing another round of testing, with questions about running businesses and world trade. The assistant says she'll handle it, and he thanks her for being so good at her job. He sees that having skilled people like her around is very important for success. He understands now that he needs not only people who like him, but also strong and loyal workers. At the gym, the manager scolds the trainer for being late and missing a shift. She says she had an emergency and already told the client and gave a refund. The manager blames her for missing work without asking him, ignoring her message. The trainer tells him to check the message where she said she needed lunch and mention the emergency. He accuses her of skipping work, and she gets upset with his unfair and pushy attitude. Finally, the trainer leaves the job, tired of being treated badly and not appreciated by her boss. A worried coworker asks if she actually quit, thinking about what she will do next. Another coworker, who is jealous, sees her fancy car and wonders how she managed to get it. The boss is surprised when he notices the car, and only then understands that she got help from a sugar daddy. She quickly texts our hero saying she lost her job and needs someone to cheer her up. He asks her to work just for him as his own personal trainer, and she agrees right away, very happy. He gives her small rewards to enjoy, and she is super happy. The trainer leaves and tells him she will be waiting in the fancy hotel suite, smiling in a flirty way. He comes to the hotel, but she cheekily doesn't let him go in, saying he's late. He jokes about leaving, but she stops him and tells him she was just joking. The trainer grabs his hand, asking him not to go, and says she just wanted to make things more fun. He tells her to beg a little to find out if she means it. She wants to know when she was not sincere, and he thinks it's funny. Our guy says he could see she meant it somewhat and forgives her, smiling. He goes toward the room and she follows, getting ready for the evening. He finally decides to stay for her and gives her a deep kiss. The trainer, putting on a playful act, calls him daddy and asks if he will punish her for acting up. He asks her to say it again, and without any delay, she softly says daddy in his ear while he is overwhelmed by his feelings. They both let go and enjoy themselves for an hour. The trainer feels totally happy and felt a kind of passion she never felt before. She thinks to herself that even if he didn't have money, he was still interesting enough to win her heart. He asks her to do it all again, saying he's ready to keep going all night if that's needed. She's surprised by how much energy he still has and wonders how he recovers so quickly. After another hour of hard work, she complains he isn't being gentle, feeling very tired. He jokes he only used half the strength he usually tries with the other person. The trainer says he's not telling the truth and that this time was very different from last time. Suddenly, he notices he weighs less and feels tired, so he worries something is wrong with his health. He looks at his stats in the system and sees he lost 2 kilos and 3 health points. This is starting to be too much for him. He then asks her to have a workout with him next morning, and she quickly gets what he means. The guy says he means a real gym workout and says he feels way too thin. She pokes fun at him, telling him he finally sees that he's really thin. The trainer says sorry for making fun of him, and he asks her to make a real training plan for him. She responds like a true expert, saying she will make a detailed diet and exercise plan for him. The trainer says goodbye to him, adding that she'll use the hotel gym and get him new exercise clothes. Just then, Q, which is the system and acts like an online trainer, brings up a fitness panel for him and sets a goal for him to become the most handsome on campus in 1 month. Surprised, our man is curious about where this new menu appeared from, like he unlocked a hidden bonus in the game of life. His stats show up on the screen, and being as focused as a player aiming for 100% completion, he decides to work on his weight and body fat to finish the task. He then sees that the system also has sections like management and investment, which is like a quick lesson on how to turn into the next Elon Musk. The young man grins with the certainty of someone who just found a game guide, knowing he can pick up skills in a month that would take others years. The next morning, the trainer shows up with a healthy meal she made herself in the manner of a full-time wife. The food looks tasty and very balanced with vegetables, eggs, and other healthy items that would make any nutritionist happy. Blushing a little, he says something nice about the food and thanks the trainer for her kind and thoughtful act. She warns him not to make things tough for her like last night, but he teases her right back with a smile that says, "I'll take that challenge." The woman then tells him to finish eating quickly because they have to get to the gym for their session, sticking to the plan. After breakfast, they go to the hotel gym ready to start training and take on the machines. One man in the gym is so amazed by her beauty that, distracted, he drops the weights on the ground. Another guy gets distracted by her figure and, just like in a cartoon, falls off the treadmill in a very funny way. The trainer begins showing him how to use one of the machines, explaining the workout with great patience. A gym goer is so nervous from the scene that he looks away so his girlfriend, who's standing there, doesn't get upset. A big and muscular man, your classic gym bro, jealously thinks a skinny guy like our protagonist shouldn't have a woman like that. The woman keeps teaching him the right way to do the exercise to stay safe and see better progress. Being professional is the main thing. And to make things more interesting, his ex's new boyfriend recognizes him and is shocked to see him there with an even prettier woman. She sees that he's getting tired but tells him it's not bad at all for his first workout. He jokes and flirts, and she calls him a troublemaker with an embarrassed smile showing she enjoys it. The ex's boyfriend is mad because he can't even speak to his ex, while our MC is having a good time with another girl and even smiles in a sly way, planning to expose him as a poser to see the girl's reaction. Feeling important, the guy walks up to the pair with a fake smile that's easy to spot. Trying to start drama, our main character knows who he is right away and asks what he wants, while the other man claims he just came for a quick word. Not wanting to deal with side issues, the trainer gets upset at the interruption and tells him to leave so they can continue. Ignoring her, he asks where the girl is that he went to the mall with the other day. Giving a wicked look, he waits for the woman to get angry and start a huge argument with our guy. Soon after, the couple keeps working out, ignoring the man's teasing. Not caring back is the best way to handle it. Surprised that they don't react, he keeps pushing and asks her if she didn't hear what he said about the other girl. Our hero then tells him off, saying, "That's enough. They hardly know each other, and he's already acting too close." The guy does not listen to her warning and keeps bothering them, telling the girl not to trust him. Surprisingly, the woman says she doesn't mind, and would be okay even if there were 3. She smiles and says his happiness is important, and if he is happy, so is she. The trainer ends by saying that our hero bought her a car that cost over 2 million yuan, a point that can't be questioned. The man looks stunned, thinking it is strange how she accepts someone cheating on her so easily. The woman then wipes the guy's face and tells the man to go, as he is keeping them from focusing on what's important. Beaten and completely embarrassed, the man leaves, mumbling about how odd people are these days. The young man says she's his trainer and helper and wouldn't worry about these things. Or maybe she would? 2 hours later, she praises how he did but tells him that the training will be even tougher tomorrow. He makes a joke right back, and the woman blushes and says they need to add more weight to the workout for better results. Back at the hotel, the couple decides to take a nice shower after their hard gym session. During the shower, he mentions he has another place to explore and comes closer in a very flirty way. She calls him playful as she gives in altogether under the warm shower. After washing up, she asks if he'll return to campus or if he will stay and sleep there. The woman tells him she feels uneasy alone and he asks her to call him daddy again. With a teasing look, her closest rises to 88 and she calls him daddy one more time, granting his wish. The guy notices level 90 is near and gets really interested in what reward the system will give. When he is back at campus, the guy sees his assistant being followed closely by the same bothersome man as before. The girl says sorry, explaining that the pushy man won't leave her alone, while the man tries to explain himself. Our hero firmly and clearly sends him away, telling him his help isn't wanted. The classmate feels mad and hurt by how he was dismissed. Outside, he thinks about what the two are doing by themselves with the blinds shut. His thoughts get carried away. He imagines something bad, thinking it shouldn't be what's on his mind. Inside, he inquires about how the campaign is going, and she tells him about the project's promotion. The young man shares that he wants to start a new round of advertising to make the incubator even more well-known. The assistant asks how he will do it, and wonders if he needs her for something. He explains the idea of posting strange online hints about a millionaire student putting money into the startup hub. She gets what he means, and, though unsure why, just feels she should do what her boss says. The guy says that doing this will make the popularity rise quickly, and he'll have the chance to choose the best projects to put his money in. He asks if it will be hard to carry out the plan without information getting out, and she reassures him that it can be kept secret. He accepts the plan and decides it's right to talk about her own issues now. The guy then asks her directly what she wants from him, surprising the girl completely with his question. The assistant thinks about how straightforward he is, and figures out that he doesn't seem to like her in a romantic way. The young woman says that it is tough to find a good job, and she was looking for a higher salary by working for him. Our protagonist sees that she acts shy, and asks her how much more money she would like to be paid. She mentions 8,000 yuan and says that is already a lot more than a fresh graduate usually gets. He gives her an offer of 10,000 a month plus bonuses and says that now she is working for him. The girl can't believe the salary and wonders if the term work for me means anything else in this case. Outside, the bothersome guy knocks on the door, getting upset about how long the two have stayed inside, acting like he wants to check up on everything. Irritated by the persistent guy, our hero calls him an embarrassment to men, and she, feeling bad, says sorry for this situation. The guy stops her and tells her to help out and fix the problem for good. After that, he hugs her and gives her a gentle yet bold kiss on her neck. The young man leaves a small mark on her neck to make everything look more real and to get the gossipy guy to stop talking. They open the door and our guy jokingly suggests putting up a sign that says no annoying or nosy people at the door. The guy can't believe what he sees and starts to babble, not knowing what's happening. The assistant then tells him not to contact her again because now she has a boyfriend. Checkmate. Losing hope, the classmate points at our hero and asks when their relationship began. She says it just started and warns him to stay away, making the guy curl up on the floor out of sadness. Feeling completely crushed and heartbroken, the man leaves quietly and all you hear is his pride breaking. Our protagonist thinks with a grin that money is really unbeatable, almost as if it's a cheat code in real life. The girl, feeling shy, asks if they're acting trick the annoying guy. He lets her go, says the guy won't bother her again, and starts heading out. As she watches him leave, the young woman calls his name, but he just keeps walking away like a bad boy straight out of a movie. When he is back at the hotel, the guy thinks the assistant does a very good job, but he still doesn't have the skills needed to run a real business. The young man knows he really needs skills now, and so he decides to use the system's knowledge lessons. Time for his brains to get better. The system now gives him a mission to learn management for a month. It's the practice period every main character must have. Out of nowhere, he remembers his advisor has 2 degrees, and one of them is business management. That is good luck for him. He gets a message from his girlfriend asking to go out for drinks, and he already knows what she wants. The guy tells her he is busy, so the girl feels sad that she has to wait a bit more. About an hour later, his girlfriend comes to the hotel door wearing a schoolgirl outfit and asks if she looks nice. He smiles and tells her that Miss Hugh always looks good no matter what she has on. The young man kisses her, jokes that you have to wait your turn to date him, and they hug with passion. Her affinity goes to 93, and after a wild night, she falls asleep on the bed. He notices that with higher affinity, it is tougher to level up, but the prizes are a lot better. The guy kisses her and says that they can go see her new home on the weekend. Excited, the girl hugs him hard and tells him she loves him so much for everything he does. When she returns to the dorm, her friends ask about the materials for the new startup incubator. One friend can't believe a student put in 10 million because she thinks rich people just spend on parties and showing off. The friend wants to spill the truth, but our hero's girlfriend stops her and asks her to keep quiet. Not sharing the secret, the friend doesn't get why there's so much mystery, and tells her to ask him if he wants another helper. His girlfriend answers right away, saying he would never hire her and she shouldn't even wish for it. The friend, who loves to tease, jokes about the night before, making the girl blush deeply. Without hesitation, the friend keeps teasing and asks if the night was, shall we say, busy, while another tells her to stop bothering. At the same time, in a different place on campus, rumors about the mystery student who spent 10 million yuan have become very popular. One girl, thinking quickly, says for someone to drop 10 million like that, he must be worth at least 100. She adds that for that amount she would run to him faster than the Flash. Her friend, who is always honest, tells her not to get her hopes up, saying that such a wealthy guy wouldn't want her and rich people don't like to show off. The other replies by talking about our hero in a bad way, saying he is always gifting expensive items to older women. Because of that, news about the unknown investor spreads on campus just like a viral meme. Now, everyone is curious about his identity. Following his plan, the guy calls his advisor and boldly asks for help with private tutoring and management. The woman gets doubtful, but he promises several times that he just wants to learn, and she finally says yes, though not happily. He doesn't wait and tells her he's heading to her home, while the professor hopes he only comes to study. When he arrives, the advisor blocks the door and makes him say he won't try to repeat last time's tricks. He puts on a super serious face and promises he will only act like a good student. She tells him to trust her. Still watching closely, the woman lets him come in and at once gives him a book full of notes on the key topics. She tells him to tie the ideas to real-life examples, and he, acting serious, says he will start studying hard. 1 hour later, the room is completely quiet, with both of them sitting apart and doing their own work. Suddenly, she breaks the silence and tells him off for stopping his work just to look at her like she's some prized treat. With a grin, he answers that she is way more fun than any management book. That's quite the pickup line. Flustered, the professor reminds him about his promise to behave and pay attention to his work. He moves in closer with some news. He says he wants her to be his girlfriend too, and tells her that both things can happen at the same time. Blushing deeply, the professor tells him to quit the silly talk and tries to get off the couch, but she's too late. He hugs her from behind and says he's telling the truth while she begins to worry, thinking about her sister. The guy argues that her sister should actually know they're a couple, but the girl refuses and says she never agreed to it. The young man then kisses her and says that sooner or later she will give in. This is his way of showing how determined he is. The woman complains that he promised to be good and calls men hard to deal with, yet she kisses him happily too. He tries to go a bit further, but the professor tells him right away that it can't happen in the living room. Right on time, her little sister walks out of her room yawning and has no idea what is happening in the living room. The young woman freezes in shock as she watches what's going on right there in front of her. When she sees the couple close together on the couch, she wonders when her rule-following sister became so daring. Noticing that they've been seen, the young man gives her a small tap to show that the younger sister has arrived. The professor goes into a panic, hides her face and says her sister saw it all. It's so embarrassing. Calm as ever, he tries to comfort her, telling her it was going to happen anyway. The woman says the real issue is that now she must explain everything. After all, she's not his girlfriend yet, not officially. Without hesitating, the main character asks her straight out if she really likes him or not. She finally says she likes him a little, but she's worried about being a teacher and a student. This makes their bond a bit stronger. The main character realizes that using the cheat for endless money won't work with her and he needs both time and effort to succeed with her. The professor just keeps looking at him, her mind racing as she tries to make sense of it all. He thinks today's job is finished, says goodbye, and leaves while she stays on the couch thinking. After he leaves, the professor tells her sister to stop hiding behind the door. The sister comes out and asks if it's over while her big sister grabs her book that went flying. Eager, the sister right away asks if it's okay to call him brother-in-law, but her request gets shut down fast. The younger girl, not understanding, keeps asking why they were kissing like that if they're not actually together. With her face even redder, the professor says her head is a mess and she's more confused than an anon character in a filler episode. The younger sister, acting as the family counselor, figures out that she's in love but hasn't realized it herself yet. That night, the guy stops by his manager's coffee shop to meet another woman. This woman used to own the coffee shop, and while she apologizes for any inconvenience, she really needed to talk to him. He stays relaxed, tells her it's fine, and asks if something is wrong because she looks upset. The woman lets out her feelings, sharing that her husband goes out every night and returns smelling like other women. She explains that if her husband can go out, then she also deserves to have a drink with someone else to clear her thoughts. The former owner then asks if the manager is his girlfriend, and the guy answers vaguely. To make her feel better, he tells her even if the manager knew, she wouldn't care. Feeling better, the woman says she didn't want trouble and doesn't feel as guilty now. With a meaningful look, she asks him for a hug, just one to make her feel a bit better. Smiling like someone who knows what will happen, the man stands up and asks her to come over. The woman agrees right away, stands up and walks to him ready for some comfort. Not holding back, she sits on his lap and hugs him while he asks if her husband knows she's there. She tells him not to spoil the moment by mentioning her husband and suddenly kisses him, which surprises him. He does feel a bit bad for doing this in his manager's coffee shop, but still keeps kissing her. The guy pulls away for a second, but the woman says to forget being polite and just help her unwind. She kisses him again and says she can help him relax too. The night, my friends, is about to get even hotter. After that night, the former coffee shop owner is happier than ever, as she just had a very lively evening with our main character. About 30 minutes later, she lay back on the lounge chair, tired and smiling widely. The woman asks for a little help tidying up, and the man looks at her with a satisfied expression. Right then, the system goes off, congratulating him for having 5 women with over 60 affinity, unlocking a prize. He receives a new study card that lets him quickly put the management textbook knowledge straight into his head in hours. He also gets 2 tickets for the Perfect Life Lottery. The wheel can provide anything from goods and money to full businesses. Feeling a rush of excitement in his eyes, he can't wait to try his luck for a big win in the lottery. The woman says she's never felt happier, and he gazes at her with pride like he's pleased with what happened. Blushing, she says goodbye, tells him she needs to leave, but she leaves the auction open to meet again soon. Our hero feels a bit surprised by the idea, and he wonders if she wants to make these casual meetings happen often. When he gets back to his dorm room, he finds pictures of online comments where people don't believe the talk about the mysterious investor. His assistant advises sharing a few more hints to keep the conversation going and help more people notice the project. He decides to stop thinking about marketing for a while so he can check out the rewards from the system. He quickly uses one of the lottery tickets and, with some luck, wins a whole shop in one of the city's top malls. Excited by his win, he uses the second ticket right away, believing that beginners are always lucky. He now receives 2 points to adjust his attributes, and he sees that he can use these points to help with his fitness goal. He decides to use the points to build up his weight, gaining more muscle and making progress quicker. The system, acting like a magical trainer, starts to make small changes to his body. When he looks in the mirror, he sees that his body already looks stronger and more toned. His body is improving really fast. The young man celebrates getting 5 kilograms of muscle and thinks these attribute points are amazing. He realizes the system gives out rewards in 2 different ways, and understands that he should try to meet more people. He knows that since some women are already attracted to him, he should increase his group of friends. It almost feels like a herm simulator. Thinking about this, he chooses to use the study card so he can connect with his advisor and have more things to say to her. During the next days, he mixes tough gym sessions with serious management studies, almost like the Rocky Balboa of business. As a reward for himself, he buys a Maserati for the coffee shop manager and a G63 for his own use. Just simple things. At a job fair, students chat about the secret investor who people think drives a G-Wagon. A few students talk about a senior who already runs his own company and looks full of himself at the fair. The senior acts proud and says that to be a good manager, you must keep learning and growing. A first-year girl, who is impressed, wants to know if she can work as an intern at his company if nothing better comes up. Being charming, he says yes and asks her to send her resume, even promising to help her out himself. The girl's eyes light up as if they just met a job angel. Feeling great, the senior offers to help more first-year students with internships. Nearby students whisper that he is just there to show off and flirt with the new girls. One of the girls our hero turned down compares him to the senior, saying our hero is skilled and humble instead. The other girl agrees, saying she can't respect our main character anymore after being rejected. The senior then asks the first-year girl out to dinner after the fair, and she says yes right away. Suddenly, a fancy car drives up without caring about the campus rules, making everyone notice it. The girl asks what's causing the fuss since cars aren't supposed to move freely on campus. Everybody is shocked when they spot the G-Wagon, a car so expensive it could buy an apartment. The freshman girl realizes what's going on and remembers the stories about the rich student who put in 10 million and drives a G-Wagon. The rumor is true. The freshman, with her eyes stuck on the car, quickly tells the senior to go away, saying the rich student seems much more fun and she'd skip their dinner right away. At that very second, the car window slowly comes down. And who's driving? It's our main guy, casually offering his buddies a lift like it's no big deal. The 2 girls who ignored him are completely shocked with their mouths wide open, like in cartoons when they find out the poor boy is the secret millionaire. His buddy, already aware of the situation, cheers for the boss's big arrival, who pretty much showed off his wealth by parking in front of everyone. The senior, who thought he was on top, ends up totally stunned, not figuring out where that G-Wagon came from to outshine him. The girl just can't believe it, and assumes he's only the driver because it's too hard for her to face the truth. His group walks over, and the senior, getting annoyed, complains about how the girl was looking at him. Our hero's friend, acting like a real gentleman, opens the car door for the girl, making her blush from all the special treatment. Now the 2 girls who once judged him watch him with mixed feelings of admiration and strong regret. It's the typical look of someone who missed out on a big win. One of them even begins to plot, thinking if he would accept it if they said sorry for being so mean. Right after that, the fact that our hero was the Guagon guy spreads around the school faster than any secret ever could. In the girls' dorms, one of the girls says her main mission now is to win over our main guy. Her 224 goal is changed. Right away, another girl agrees, claiming she'd dump her boyfriend as quick as Sonic if she even got a small chance to date him. A student named Jing, who is also really attractive, goes to our hero's helper to see if she can get a favor. The assistant knows who she is and, feeling suspicious, asks what she's doing at the office. The girl, straight to the point, asks to meet him, and the assistant wants to know what caused this sudden change in attitude. Jing makes up a weak reason about how hard it is to find a job and needing connections. A familiar excuse. The assistant nearly believes it, but then senses that the girl might have other, less pure reasons. She then thinks how lovely the girl is, and considers that she might actually be a good addition to the boss's group. The assistant shakes her head at herself, thinking it's wrong to act like she's picking partners for a ruler from ancient times. Now that he's become well known, our main character starts getting countless messages from girls showing interest. His phone buzzes non-stop. His roommate sees the phone going crazy and asks if he's going to look at it. Our guy answers no and admits he actually feels bothered by how many people are now coming to him just because of his money. He says if only girls were messaging, it would be okay, but there are random guys adding him too, which just makes it weirder. His buddy complains that the girls who can't reach the hero are messaging everywhere and are even trying to contact him. Without any patience, our main character tells his friend to just ignore everyone. The roommate complains that he hasn't had any luck for 3 years while the guy is living like a movie star. The system says that for every 500 reputation points, he gets a lottery draw with prizes. So, being famous gets him rewards. Deciding to focus on what matters, he thinks he needs to ask his assistant about the update on the startup incubator project. The young man writes her a message, asking her to meet him in the office for a discussion. Just then, his girlfriend calls and asks if he has time to hang out since he's on campus. He tells her to come to the office because, now that he's well known, he wants to avoid new rumors. He then says to his roommate that he's going out and he doesn't need to wait for him for their evening gaming. His friend is left feeling down, saying that summer is over and he's still as lonely as the last cookie in the jar. At the office, his girlfriend hugs him tightly, saying she missed him so much. She complains that everyone is talking about him and now every girl on campus knows him. The young woman also says even his private details, like his shoe size and blood type, have been shared on the internet. His girlfriend warns him to take care because these days guys should be careful too. He can't follow her thinking, closes the window, and questions her, pretty lost and with a look anyone would expect from a succubus. She suggests they could have some fun there, and asks if he's interested. He tries using the meeting as a reason, but his girlfriend tells him to stand up and says his job isn't important to her right now. Not sure what to do, he freezes as she walks up with a look that could make Superman melt. The young woman asks if he likes her way, and he shyly admits that he does. After that, the meeting became pretty physical. Meanwhile, outside, the assistant hears weird sounds and guesses that something is happening in there. She blushes, realizes those noises aren't from talking about spreadsheets, and thinks her boss is both very impressive and a little odd. She stands guard at the door to keep anyone from going in. After standing there stuck for a long time, her legs start to go numb because she's been outside waiting so long. Suddenly, his girlfriend walks out of the office and the assistant hides quickly so she won't get noticed. Looking proud, the girlfriend glares at her and tells her that he's hers now and to keep away. Back inside the office, the assistant asks what he wanted and he praises her for her great work. She thanks him and he tells her to sort through and pick the most useful projects when the applications come in. The young woman then asks what guidelines to use to pick out the very best projects. Smiling like he has an idea, he tells her to pick the ones that show off the college's new mood. A bit puzzled, the assistant asks what special thing about the school he's talking about. With a serious face, our guy goes on to say that the school's best feature is its beautiful female students. Surprised, she wonders if he really spent millions just to turn the incubator into a fancy version of Tinder. The assistant asks if this is right, and he stops to think if he was being a bit too direct. He tries to defend himself, explaining that since there will be so many people applying, they might as well choose the best-looking ones as well. It sounds reasonable, right? The girl agrees to screen the applications, thinking only her boss could say something like that so simply. Then, he moves on and asks about the second-round test, and she tells him it's ready. The assistant instantly realizes the test is mainly so they can remove unwanted candidates without much trouble. Being smart, she suggests secretly giving the answers to the people they like, and he really likes the suggestion. The young woman wonders if she is giving up her morals, but then decides she and her boss are in it together. She convinces herself that a 10,000 monthly salary comes with being loyal as part of the job. The assistant then offers to bring in the first candidate on the list as he looks at her closely. She mentions the candidate is about her own age, which annoys him since he wanted to get the real age and not a comparison. She says sorry for the mistake and then continues to introduce the candidate. The assistant says the candidate is 19 and is a school legend known as the Dragon Girl. Basically, the Durs of the college. He asks for contact details to get in touch, and the assistant shows him the girl's picture on her phone. Then, he suddenly gets a message from the coffee shop owner inviting him out for a drink again. Our guy, who understands what's going on, teases her and asks if she's sure she only wants to drink with him. The woman is very happy about his fast response and starts getting ready for the date straight away. She feels young and in love again, excited to meet him. Lying on her couch, the young woman hopes the time goes faster so her date gets here sooner. On campus, he finds his car covered in love letters and notes from fans, making it look like a notice board. One letter is so bold that it also includes the girl's measurements and how to contact her. Two girls come over to him and ask if they can get a ride to the mall for shopping. He politely says no, explaining he has to pick someone else up and there isn't space in the car. He quickly makes the excuse that he can't add more people to his contact list and leaves as fast as possible. Two guys nearby watch and say this is what always happens when someone has lots of money and power. The friend says that even if he worked his whole life, he would never have enough money to buy a car like that. The other replies that for a car like that, he would promise loyalty forever if it meant he would never worry about money again. His friend considers the idea and then thinks maybe it's actually not a bad plan. At 9:00 p.m., our guy meets up with the former coffee shop owner and asks if she has any more problems that need to be fixed. With a flirty look, the woman says she would like to ask him something, and he tells her to go ahead and ask. Blushing, she asks if he believes in love, which surprises him with how deep the question is. The young man gives a typical answer, saying both yes and no, and thinks about his first crush from high school. He decides that after breaking up, he never felt the same again and always felt like something was missing in every relationship after that. She says his answer was too general, and he just gives a small smile as he looks back at her. Suddenly, the woman picks up the phone and calls a service to fix the air conditioning at her home. She sets up an appointment for tomorrow and thanks them after ending the call. Our guy asks if her AC isn't working, and she says it's been broken for several days. Always wanting to help, he offers to fix it, but she doubts that someone used to being wealthy knows how to fix things. Our young man decides to use his last skill pack, turns into MacGyver, and learns how to repair things. He chooses appliance repair as his skill and turns it on using the system. The system confirms it and lets him know he is now great at fixing things. Our guy feels his hands become steadier, almost as if he just gained better skill using tools. He promises her he can do it and casually asks if her husband is at home. He then gets up, uses his new skill set, and starts working on the air conditioner while she watches, impressed. Calmly, he explains that it was only a bit of dust and a dirty filter, basically the simplest fix you can find. The woman, already dressed up, now starts to wonder if she's lost her charm because he seems more focused on the AC screws than on her. Not sure how to feel, she goes to take a quick shower, using the old Adam distraction to think things over and maybe respond with something new. After 15 minutes, she comes back from her shower wearing much more comfortable clothes, ready for what might happen next. Our guy tightens the last screw and is happy to see the air conditioner working well again. The job is done. Smiling with pride, he calls her over saying, the repair service is finished, but now she can pay for the work in another way. She tries to feel worried about her husband coming home soon, but our guy, totally brave, sets her down on the bed without any fear. The woman still asks if this is a good idea, but he gives her a look that means, trust me. He then uses his best line and says he can fix anything in the house, even her heart and her body. The woman, now completely drawn in, just says his name as she lets herself enjoy the special moment. She thinks that this is the happiest she's ever felt for paying for a repair and lets herself get carried away by the moment. She thinks about how things were with her husband and decides that being with him felt pointless, like watching an extra episode that doesn't matter. Just then, as if it was supposed to happen, her husband comes home, drunk and complaining, almost like a cartoon bad guy. He grumbles that the other man only knows how to show off but says the woman never does anything, then starts walking toward the bedroom. Right at that moment, he grabs the doorknob, ready to walk in and see what's happening. The couple hears the door, and both panic as the husband makes his big appearance, ready to ruin everything. The woman panics when she understands her husband has actually come home that night. Desperate, she whispers for him to be quiet because if her husband finds out, she'll lose everything in a divorce. Calm and unfazed, the man gets up and says he'll just go lock the door. The woman is stunned, wondering how he can stay so cool and think clearly when things are so crazy. The husband mumbles to himself, bothered that the place is empty, but his wife still left the air conditioner running. He keeps muttering to himself about how lazy she is while he heads to the kitchen for some water. He tries to open the bedroom door, finds it's locked, and stands back in confusion, trying to make sense of it. The other man signals to her to keep quiet so the husband won't discover what they were doing. Quickly, the woman puts her hand over her mouth to block out any sound and keep her husband from hearing them. On the other side, the man grumbles that work events made him late getting home. Sure, since he can't get into the room, he gives up and says, at least this way, I don't have to do my husband's chores. The husband goes to the other bedroom and lies down on the bed, falling asleep fast because he's tired and drunk. The woman asks the other man to keep his voice down since her husband is just on the other side of the wall. He notices that her husband snores evenly and decides to use the noise as a cover to keep going with what they started. The woman forgets her worries and thinks again about how amazing the feeling is when she's with him. In the morning, the husband wakes up with a terrible headache, complaining about the bad alcohol he had at the bar. He's surprised to see his wife in the kitchen, looking cheerful and making breakfast in a cute apron. He's shocked since she hasn't gone near the kitchen in about 2 years and wonders what happened. Getting suspicious, he asks her about the locked bedroom door and then hints at how she slept that night. Smiling brightly, as if she's hit the jackpot, the woman says she slept really well and keeps cooking. The husband thinks her actions are very strange and starts to get curious, his wannabe detective brain waking up. He thinks maybe she's hiding something and decides to play detective in the bedroom. He searches the bed for anything odd or any clues but doesn't find a thing. He also checks the trash hoping to catch her, but finds nothing there either. Not finding any proof, he thinks he must be making it all up, and the woman calls him to come have breakfast. The husband asks if she noticed a weird noise coming from the wall last night, but she says no and tells him she was sound asleep. With nothing left to check, he brings up the broken air conditioner and then notices that it's oddly working fine now. Staying calm, the woman answers that she just called someone to repair it. In her mind, she figures the noise was from the repair and realizes that our hero didn't just fix the AC, but made her happy too. Somewhere else, our hero's ex's best friend finds her looking tired with dark circles and seeming very down. The ex is there crying hard, upset that our protagonist is living a good life while she feels she has hit her lowest point. Her friend, getting annoyed, asks which of her many ex-boyfriends she's talking about, and the girl says, "It's our hero." The ex shares jealously that right after they split up, he spent millions on gifts for other women. The friend doesn't really believe it, but the ex shows her screenshots of her chat with the trainer as real proof. She grumbles that the trainer quit her job to live in comfort and thinks it should have been her. The ex now feels bad for picking the other guy over our protagonist, and her regret keeps her awake at night. Her friend tries to help her feel better, saying she should start fresh with a new person and it wouldn't be that tough. Proudly, the ex says she's too picky now and won't give a chance to anyone with less than 10 million. The friend is stunned, shocked by how quickly her friend's expectations have soared. The ex becomes determined and says she is going to get our hero back, no matter what it takes. Her friend tries to talk to her, but the ex insists that once someone gets used to a rich life, there's no going back. She starts to get upset, saying all the money our protagonist spends on others should belong to her. The ex then pulls her friend away with her, saying they are going to look for our hero right now. The overwhelmed friend picks up her phone and checks his social media for any sign of where he is. The friend quietly thinks her ex is acting totally crazy and secretly wishes someone would send her to a hospital. Meanwhile, in a fancy hotel, the trainer gazes at the city, deep in her thoughts. Our hero steps out of the shower and sees her standing there, thinking deeply in front of the big bedroom window. The woman mentions that he's gaining weight and muscles much faster than normal, and says his progress is almost scary. He answers mysteriously that he isn't like everyone else, and begins getting ready to go. Our protagonist now realizes his exercise routines are making him healthier and stronger every day. It's the real power boost. After dressing, he tells the trainer she doesn't have to wait for him because he has other plans today. She says she'll wait for him to call and feels happy that finally, someone needs and values her. The young man thinks his girlfriend started the game early, but hasn't earned as many prizes as the rest. At a nice restaurant, his girlfriend is eating lunch with her cousins, and they keep asking her questions about her life. The young woman says she sometimes goes out to restaurants with friends and tells her cousin to eat some more. The cousin quickly starts acting like a knowledgeable family member, asks about her career goals, and reminds her to search for internships. The brother-in-law discourages her, telling her to be prepared since her college isn't among the top ones. The female cousin joins in and asks if she already has a boyfriend, saying it's much harder to meet someone after finishing college. The brother-in-law then suggests introducing her to a cousin of his who is an intern at a well-known company. She quickly declines and tells him she already has a boyfriend, which completely surprises both of them. Her cousin warns her that dating is serious and she needs to watch who she dates. The brother-in-law adds that most people from her college hardly make money and their lives are tough. The couple becomes very worried, thinking her boyfriend is not suitable and that she might get into trouble. She tries to calm them and, while smiling to herself, thinks that if she told the truth about our hero, her brother-in-law would be shocked. His girlfriend says she needs to leave early, and her cousin, curious, asks if she already has plans. Grinning proudly, she tells him her boyfriend is taking her to purchase a new home. The couple can't believe it and think no reasonable family would buy a house before marriage. Right then, she points to the entrance where our hero arrives driving a luxury car and says, he's wealthy. He comes in looking sharp and calls for her to come over while she introduces him to her cousins, who can only stare without speaking. Our guy says sorry for not staying with them, but kindly offers to cover their lunch. The cousin criticizes him for flaunting a car that's expensive than their whole house. The couple just stand there extremely embarrassed and feeling crushed in that very uncomfortable moment. Inside the car, our hero gives her the house deed, letting her know she becomes an owner now. He quickly figures out that buying the house gave him more than 6 million in rewards from the system. Stunks. Our young man jokes, saying he'll find a learning movie to show her the right way to thank him. Blushing, she asks him to stop joking but clings tightly to the deed as if it's a big treasure. He sees her affection is nearly at its peak and plans to get it to 100% that evening. The dragon girl sends him a text, but he ignores it, which makes her feel confused and upset. She feels bad about begging for attention, which she always disliked before. Her friends warn her the competition for him is even tougher than in Game of Thrones. She doesn't listen and stays focused on her own business plan. Wanting to get his attention, she thinks that a billionaire can charm anyone, herself included. Intent on succeeding, the dragon girl sits down to work harder on her plan. Meanwhile, our hero asks his girlfriend if she has thought about her plans for the future. He says he has different businesses and can set up something for her to do if she wants. Our guy thinks with this very possessive girlfriend he can't use his harem properly as she's always there. The young woman is surprised by how many techniques he knows and he says he just found them online. Feeling embarrassed, she says she will pick one at random with her eyes shut. 20 minutes later, she wants to know if he likes it, and he tells her not to stop no matter what. The girlfriend is amazed she learned so fast, and says from now on he will like her even more. He thinks to himself that he needs 10 more girls like her who always want to make him happy. All of a sudden, his phone rings and someone with a nervous voice tells him to leave his spot right away. Our guy takes the call and asks his friend what happened to make him sound so urgent. The friend says there's no time for details, and that he's sending him the location to go there now. Puzzled by the strange call, the young man sits up in bed, wondering what is happening. Our hero was just driving his nice car when his phone rings. It was his friend again, with that typical last-minute change of plans nobody likes. The friend makes up the excuse that he got pulled there. But Yuan, not in the mood for complaints, tells him to just wait for 30 minutes. Getting out of the car, our guy sees something troubling. The place is way too close to his counselor's home, hinting at trouble. He gets a bad feeling. Suddenly, his friend shows up from the shadows and invites him inside, saying there is a girl with really great services, with his arms folded like someone very sure of himself. The MC says no, explaining he's got enough girls and doesn't want any distractions. Just then, his friend's eyes get big when he sees Yuan's car, and he asks what kind of magic made it appear. Our hero simply says he bought himself a new car. The friend is totally shocked since that's his absolute dream car. Only after that does Yuan ask why he was called to this hidden place. Smiling widely, his friend shares that the bar belongs to him and the upgrades are almost over. Again trying to get our hero to go in and look around. Almost like bad luck, 2 girls walk by and one of them looks at Yuan like she knows him. Our guy turns white as a ghost when he sees one of them is his counselor Leia. The situation, already difficult, just got much worse. The counselor looks at him with total disappointment while her friend, the police officer Lamong, looks ready to get very angry at him. Realizing he's in trouble, he gives a small awkward wave, and his friend, not seeing the problem, asks who those lovely women are. The 2 women, though, ignore him coldly and start to leave, but our MC runs up to try to stop a disaster. He walks closer and desperately tries to fix things by asking if he can come over and help with making dinner. Li Meng, the sister who is already furious, turns around and starts yelling at him, saying he has no shame for being at a place with special services and for upsetting her sister. On top of that, the young man tries to explain himself, swearing that it's all a big mistake and that he was just waiting for someone like an unimportant RPG character. The girl does not believe him and tells him right to his face that her sister tried to accept him, even got him a present, but he still went and ruined everything. After that, they both leave, and the friend tells him to find the girl who gives those amazing services. While the counselor gets way more upset, his friend walks over pretending to eat popcorn and asks if all this drama is about his new girlfriend. RMC just sighs and says there's no use trying to explain while she's angry, admitting he probably messed up really badly this time. Yan's friend finally realizes he caused some trouble, says sorry, and asks who that lady from earlier was since he's never seen her before. Feeling sad, our main character tells him she was his counselor and English teacher, making his friend look really shocked. He then says he will think of a way to make things right with her and tells his friend they should talk somewhere else. When they arrive at a cozy coffee shop, a pretty girl greets them who, unsurprisingly, knows our main character very well. Feeling comfortable, the young man orders 2 coffees and warmly calls her Nana, while his friend watches them closely like a detective. Sitting down, his friend comments that the barista looks familiar but can't remember where he's seen her before. Our main character reminds him she was the luxury car saleswoman who was with their cousin at that family meal. Left speechless, the friend asks how she ended up here, and right away accuses Yuan of stealing a relative's girlfriend. Shocked, his friend cannot believe that Yuan is seeing both his teacher and the former car saleswoman at once. This guy is unbelievable. With perfect timing, our main character says he's stepping back from the bar business and handing it over to his friend. Looking like a real boss, he tells his friend that he's confident in his skills, but warns that working with friends can get complicated. So, keeping a distance is better. His friend, full of energy, promises to do his best and not to break the trust Yuan has given him. At that moment, the barista Chenna brings their coffees, and Yan's friend, already making jokes, calls her sis-in-law. The young woman becomes shy and blushes, obviously surprised by what he said. Right after, she sees Yan's shirt is rumpled and carefully leans in to smooth it out. As she fixes his shirt, his friend laughs and says, "You two are so cute," and says he's clearly the outsider here. That night, The young woman says a friend is looking for a summer job, and Yuan, wanting to help, replies he can get her a place at the cafe. Smiling warmly, Nana says it's been a tough day, and she needs a shower to get rid of her tiredness and the sweat too. Alone in his room, our main character grabs his phone and thinks he really needs to fix the situation with his counselor soon. But when he calls, no one answers and it goes straight to voicemail, making him look worried and a little annoyed. He starts to wonder why she can't pick up or even see his texts. He doesn't realize what's really going on. At the counselor's place, her sister Li Meng is furious, saying he has a lot of courage to still call. The girl holds the counselor, who is feeling very sad, and says Yuan isn't good and it's better they learn the truth early. With tears in her eyes, the girl asks why guys like going to those places so much. Her sister answers that it's clear because most boys are like that. They visit to find excitement and because they have certain reasons. She explains confidently that men have needs and that the women there know how to make them feel good. The counselor remembers a time when Yuan hugged her, she pushed him away, and then she gets a terrible thought. Feeling sad, she starts blaming herself, thinking maybe she made him wait too long and that's why he searched for someone else. Her sister is surprised by this thinking, saying that love is scary for making her think this way. Li Meng tells her sister to remember the trouble she had the last time she fell in love, trying to help her see the truth. The sisters look at each other, and the sister begs her not to lose control and not to get stuck in this emotional problem. The counselor finally agrees with her sister, deciding not to let her feelings control her and that she must stay collected. Meanwhile, we see our MC on his phone, easily ignoring messages from classmates from college. He keeps checking his social feed and sees a lot of messages from a girl saying good morning and more, clearly hoping he will notice. The guy looks at her picture, thinking she could be good for his game, but he wants to watch her more before deciding. Acting very cool, he sends back a short message, knowing this will just make her like him even more. All at once, the door opens and Nana calls his name with a smile, surprising him. She's wearing perfect office clothes and glasses, which makes her even more attractive. The girl asks if he liked her surprise, and our guy admits that she is really making him confused today. She welcomes him to come in with a gentle look, and they hug while he tells her she looks amazing. While lying in bed, Nana says he's acting different today, and Yuan, curious, wants to know what she means. She answers that he looks stronger and asks if he's been exercising. He says yes, and gently hints they go to the couch. Our sportsman jokes he could be her workout tool and says that next time they could try a riding move, but she sweetly asks what's different about that. He says it's pretty much the same, and invites her to test the new routine, which makes the young woman excited for the challenge. After a tough workout, the guy compliments Nana, saying she has great skills like a true Amazon. The next day at college, someone is about to open the student committee room door. Not knowing what's inside, the door is opened and a scene like Black Friday shopping is revealed. Many students are crowding to hand over their forms to a single professor. Students are pushing each other to give their projects, while the woman looks like she might lose it at any moment. The professor is buried under tons of paperwork, wonders why suddenly so many talented girls are interested in joining the project. At the same time in the gym, a phone rings. The screen says the secretary is calling. The MC, who is working out near a girl, sees the call and wonders who this secretary even is. When he picks up, the person on the other side says they got 653 applications. He asked right away how many are men and how many are women. She tells him that there are 628 women and only 25 men. He immediately says to only choose the really good projects. On the call, the secretary gets worried and asks if all the guys are just going to get rejected then. He explains that he is not making a girls-only group and that any good ideas from guys should be accepted too. The MC thinks if he picks just pretty girls, the project will feel like out of a modeling agency, but he needs smart people and not just looks. The girl running on the treadmill next to him, pouting with jealousy, asks why he ignored her question while on the phone. He calmly tells her that it was only a call from someone who works for him and tells her not to overthink things. Just then, a system notification pops up. The third girl has hit 90 affection and the prizes are coming in. Nana's affection reaches 90 and the MC gets excited, wanting to see what amazing reward he'll get this time. The system gives a legendary prize of a 5mm hardware boost, puts 30 million in his account, and gives 2 skill tickets. What loot, friends? The MC feels overjoyed by the improvement, thinking no man would say no to an upgrade like this. Right away, he uses the first reward and feels a strange, warm sensation in his lower body that seems full of promise. With a happy grin, he sees the change as obvious and feels very pleased with the result. Feeling very eager, he calls for Coach Louis, who has no idea why he's in such a hurry. He quickly takes her hand and acts like an action hero, saying there's no time to explain as he leads her upstairs. Then it shows a shadow of them in the shower, and the girl mentions that something seems different about him. He pretends not to know and asks what changed. She wonders if she's just imagining it or if exercise really does wonders. Smiling in victory, the MC says maybe he didn't change? It could just be that she became more sensitive. Very embarrassed, the girl asks him to take it a bit slower next time because it's hard for her to keep up. The MC hugs her and promises to warm up next time, all while thinking the reward's effect is just too strong. A bit later, our hero says goodbye to the coach who is fast asleep on the bed and tells her to get some rest. After leaving, he thinks about how his newly upgraded weapon will need a careful introduction before he shows it to the other girls. The next morning, driving his car, he worries about a big problem with the counselor who is still ignoring him. He thinks the only way to fix this is to handle it directly, face to face, so he walks to her house later that day. He knocks on the door and hears her ask who is there. Like a secret agent, he quickly says he's from downstairs and claims there's a water leak. When she opens the door, the young woman knows it's him and immediately accuses him of lying to her once again, looking upset. Moving fast, the guy stops the door from shutting and insists on coming inside so they can talk things through. Looking annoyed, she asks him what he wants and clearly does not care to listen to anything he says. The young man calmly says they need to talk, as she got the wrong idea yesterday. He is now trying to clear his name. Lisa stares at him angrily, acting like she caught him lying and questions his whole story, not believing he's innocent at all. He keeps saying he's done nothing bad, but the counselor, tired of the fight, says she does not believe him and tells him to leave. Right before she shuts the door, he shares the whole truth, explaining his childhood friend changed the meeting place suddenly, making that normal restaurant switch to the strange place. Still sure he's not honest, she asks for hard proof that he was just waiting for someone and not doing anything else. He quickly pulls out his phone and shows their chat, the clear proof that the meeting should have been at a nice restaurant. To make it completely clear, he even says she can check the security camera tapes like a real detective. She now believes him because of the proof, and he again says he would never go to that place by his own choice. Almost like magic, her attitude doesn't just go back to normal, it gets better, jumping to 70. The young woman feels embarrassed and says sorry for judging too fast. RMC is shocked because her feelings not only went back, but got a little boost too. Stunks. He says everything is fine, then, seeing his chance, asks, "Could I have a glass of water?" This smart move gives him more time. Getting suspicious again, the counselor accuses him of using the same trick as before. Our young man makes his most innocent face, swears it is just for water, and promises he will leave right after. She looks at him to decide if she should trust him, and he gives her a big, warm smile. Tired out, the young woman gives in and tells him to wait a moment as she gets the water. She shuts the door, leaving him standing outside like he is delivering food. Tay. After a moment, the door opens again and the counselor comes back, still looking mysterious. To surprise him, she gives him a sealed bottle of water and doesn't even open the door all the way. Her caution is amazing. He thinks she is treating him like a movie villain and seems to have no trust for him. The door shuts again, and he stands alone in the hallway with only his bottle of water as a tiny reward. A neighbor who saw it all says that young people now should try to be patient and not rush ahead. Our guy, showing his modern thinking, tells the lady, "You snooze, you lose," and adds that if you're too slow, someone else might take your place. The woman is very taken with the boy, thinking he is good-looking and impressive, and even thinks about going to a club to see what it's like. As he gets into his car, he decides the mission went well. The confusion was solved. He can tell by how she acts that she is still interested in him. All of a sudden, a message shows up on his screen. A girl named Sushu, the dragon girl, is calling him. When he picks up, the young woman lets him know the plumbing task is finished and he tells her he'll come take a look. An hour afterward, our MC shows up at the spot, ready for another workday at investments. There is a young redhead waiting for him, sitting on the curb thoughtfully, almost like an indie music star. After getting out of his space-age car, he goes to her and asks if she's waited long. She stands up looking a bit nervous and answers no. Trying to help her relax, he jokes that she has nothing to worry about because he doesn't bite unless it's asked for. He gestures at the building. The young man asks her to show him inside so he can look over the work. She quickly agrees, offering to give him a full tour. He thinks to himself how skilled and sure she is. Inside, she tells him that all plumbing and heating is complete, and now comes the fun part, choosing tiles. In the courtyard, the redhead explains that the job matched exactly what he wanted. Our guy is pleased and compliments her great job. While walking near the pool, he asks her to dinner, but the young woman kindly refuses, saying she must go home. Wondering, he asks her why, and she describes her life like a modern Cinderella. She has to make dinner for her mom and her little brother. Out of the blue, our main guy looks at her closely in a way that surprises her. Then all of a sudden, it starts raining heavily, just like in the movies. Acting like a gentleman, he pulls her next to him and notices that she has a great figure. Bright red in the face and frozen in place, the young woman tries to say his name, her mind blank from how close they are. They both stand very close to each other as rain pours down, making it look just like a scene out of a manga cover. He comments that the rain is way too heavy and says they need to go indoors quickly. The redhead, still a bit dazed, can only nod. He tries to shield her, but since the rain is strong, her clothes get soaked, which makes her extremely embarrassed. Safe inside, she wraps her arms around herself, feeling very awkward, and asks him not to look at her. With a straight face, he says he didn't mean to stare, but the view was just that striking. Still very embarrassed, she remains quiet, using her arms to shield herself from his eyes. Blushing deeply, she stands there not sure what to do or say in such an uncomfortable moment. He then gives her a hug from behind, saying it's to help warm her up after the rain. Right? She starts arguing with herself inside. She's never been so close to a guy before, and part of her wants him to leave, but another part knows she shouldn't upset a special client. He sees her looking at him and jokes with a sly smile, asking if it's because he's just so good-looking. This guy has a lot of confidence. The poor girl is too shocked to speak. She just isn't ready for someone to say something so bold. Our MC shows the famous half-smile. That is the well-known smirk of an anime bad guy who thinks she's too kind and harmless for this world. He sees her blushing and thinks this means he can keep flirting. Holding her closer, he feels ready to take things a step further. After a scene break for half an hour, we see our guy peeking out the window like he's checking if the boss of the level is gone. He says the storm is gone, and that her ride is ready, but the young woman, still thinking about what just happened, asks him to please take his hand off her. He feels a bit embarrassed and uses the usual excuse people say, "I just thought you might be cold, really?" 40 minutes after that, they reach her house. She thanks him for the ride, but he still does not give up. Right away, he asks if he can come inside for a cup of coffee. He quickly notices the situation is tough. The building she lives in looks old, almost like it belongs in a movie about the world after it ends. She tries to tell him to leave, saying she has to cook for her family, but he keeps asking, saying the classic line, "I'll just sit in the corner, I promise I won't be in the way." And, as you might expect, the people who like to gossip, also called nosy neighbors, begin talking when they see a fancy car parked outside, and the idea that the girl has a new boyfriend. To them, it's clear he brought gifts, so they decide he is their Prince Charming who came to save her and help their family. But there is always another group, thinking the whole thing won't work. They say that rich men just mess with poor girls' feelings, and then leave. This goes on until a little old man, quiet in his own space, tells the gossips to be quiet and to show more respect. Right then, a sweet little boy runs to hug the young woman. She, acting like a caring older sister, asks if he is hungry and then says she will make dinner for him. RMC sees this happen, asks if that is her brother, and the redhead formally introduces them. He finds out the boy's name is Xiao Ji. She excuses how shy the boy is as he hides behind her, as if our hero were scary. Her mother then comes into the room. Her daughter, looking concerned, asks her why she got up, and the mother explains she just wanted to move her legs a bit. Afterward, the redhead introduces Yuan to her mother. Yuan, wanting to make a good impression, greets her with a friendly smile. The mother, always careful, notices that this is the first time her daughter has brought a boy home and starts making guesses. Seeing the gifts, the woman asks Yuan to come in and have a seat, and our hero feels right away that he just completed the first part of his plan. Once they're inside, the young woman tells him to relax at home while she heads into the kitchen to cook dinner. After 30 minutes pass, a wonderful smell spreads and the meal is served, looking so good. The family all sits together and little Xiaoji happily tells his sister her food tastes great. Our guy, polite as always, compliments the mother's kindness and says that just trying her child's cooking is enough for him. While watching the family, he sees how strong the young woman really is, acting like the important support for her family. When dinner ends, he stands to go, but the redhead stops him and says she wants to give him back the money he gave her earlier. He then, already coming up with a plan, asks to use her phone for a moment. The young woman, confused, gives him the phone. With his plan done, our guy says goodbye and walks away, waving at the girl who stands by the door, watching him leave. Suddenly, her phone vibrates. A message tells her something shocking. He just sent 50,000 to her account. Worried, she rushes to the window and yells his name. But our hero pretends to have his headphones on and keeps walking like nothing happened. As he gets close to his car, he thinks that the money could really help her family, but he wonders if she will accept it because of her pride. Sitting in his car, he decides to give the money back if she asks. But right then, he gets a familiar feeling. The system's cash back is about to come. While driving, he goes back to his work self and calls his secretary, asking for updates on the people chosen for his project. She tells him that 12 have made it past the first stage. Happy, he praises her work and promises a nice bonus at the end of the month. RMC then starts thinking about how he can manage his businesses and also focus on her. Life isn't simple for an MC. At the same time, the curious neighbor is at it again, asking the redhead's mother if the guy is really her daughter's boyfriend. The mother, being truthful, replies she doesn't know. The neighbor keeps going, saying the guy must be very rich because of his car, and when she shares the price, the mother is shocked. The neighbor, now playing matchmaker, says that marrying him would fix all their problems and tells the mother to go talk to her daughter soon. But the mother, standing by her values, says her daughter must choose for herself and she would never force her to marry for money. Things get worse as another neighbor jumps in, making things more dramatic, saying the guy seemed interested but has probably lost interest by now. The mother goes inside, clearly upset by the rumors, and talk about her family's future. In the kitchen, she calls her daughter for an important talk. The girl turns around, prepared to listen to her mother. The mother gets straight to the question and asks about her real relationship with Yuan. The girl, a little uneasy, says he's only a client. Her mother pushes further, asking if he has shown any interest. The redhead confesses that he behaved very oddly earlier. At that time, she recalls seeing him with another woman and begins to wonder if that woman could be his real girlfriend. The mother sighs and asks the big question, how do you truly feel about him since you seem so unsure? The young woman stammers, saying no with all her strength, and repeats, he's just a client, he's just a client. Her mother, seeing that her daughter is upset, hugs her and tells her to ignore the rumors, reminding her she does not have to marry for money. They share a big hug. Her mother's words make her feel calmer, and the girl feels a bit better. But as she closes her eyes, she remembers the hug in the rain and stands there, confused about her own feelings. She can't stop thinking about the hug, like replaying a video, and is even more unsure about how she feels about him. With her cheeks turning red, she falls deep into thought, trying to make sense of the confusion in her heart. The following morning, our hero had just woken up beside Coach Liu when he answered his phone for a work call. On the phone was the Dragon Girl's boss, who wanted to talk about her trainee. He agrees to meet for coffee, acting like a proper business person. At the cafe, the Reedhead's boss quickly brings up the story about the 50,000 transfer that the girl tried to send back but couldn't. Our hero, staying calm and cool, confirms what happened and sips his coffee like they are just chatting about the weather. The lady then gets straight to the point, asking him to let the money be sent back, saying the young woman felt very awkward getting such a gift. He, in a no-nonsense way, asks if that's the only purpose of this meeting. The boss, acting like a matchmaker, says that if he wants the girl's attention, he has to try more. He keeps up his image as a good man, promises he meant nothing by the money, and says honestly it's not important to him anymore. Our guy finally agrees to the return of the money, but he notices there is an extra $200 in his balance. He just thinks the redhead sure can be very stubborn. Changing topic smoothly, he asks if a certain director has been inviting the girl to business meals, but her boss says no one has. Having finished what he came for, he thanks her for her time and leaves, letting the woman sit alone with her thoughts and a cooling drink. The boss stays there thinking it would be a dream ending if the redhead ended up with him, yet she knows her trainee takes pride in herself and cannot be bought with money. Back in his car, the phone rings again. This time, it is the coffee shop owner speaking in a smooth voice, inviting him over for another coffee. With a bold grin, our guy says that her husband being nearby just makes things more thrilling. She invites him to her place, and he agrees, making a joke that he needs to recharge due to the air conditioner. At exactly 6:30 p.m., our MC arrives at her home and finds her cooking in the kitchen, and the meal smells very good. She says she's preparing a special soup, and he thinks that wives really understand what men want. Sneaking up behind her quietly, he asks if she ever made that soup for her husband before. She answers it's her first time, she found the recipe online only to impress him. That's true care, he thinks, then gives her a hug and asks at what time her husband usually gets home. She tells him it will be around 9 in the evening, so they have enough time to eat soup, of course. She asks if he's enjoying it, and our guy makes a happy sound that says it all. An hour after, he praises the soup again, and she, wanting to please him, offers to cook it more often. He says that could be difficult, but then she surprises him. She has decided to file for divorce to search for her happiness. Our guy is surprised but supports her choice, even though he kinda liked the extra thrill of being the other man. The woman thanks him, saying he gave her the courage to make such an important choice. He jokes not to put the blame for the divorce on him and squeezes her cheeks playfully like she's a kitten. The MC thinks to himself that once she's divorced, he can openly spend on her and her affection will grow a lot. As he leaves, destiny messes with him. Her husband spots him and at once recognizes the fancy car. The man just stands there looking shocked, finding our hero's face familiar and trying to recall where he has seen him. Then he suddenly remembers. It's the wealthy man who bought a car for a saleswoman. Now he can't stop thinking about why that man was in his neighborhood. Back at their house, the husband says something nice about his wife's soup, but in a cold voice, she says the soup isn't meant for him. Ouch. With a small smile, the woman drinks her soup quietly, acting as if her husband isn't even there. The man complains about how hot it is, but she just says she isn't hot at all and she's not turning on the air conditioner. A silent war has started. Inside, she reminds herself that she's not scared of a fight. She's only thinking about our hero Colin still in the bedroom. The husband, not guessing a thing, gets up and says he's taking a shower so they can spend time together later. He doesn't realize that 10 minutes later, he'll find the bedroom door locked and wonder why she did it. Did she fall asleep already? Upset at being ignored, the man throws himself onto the couch and mutters that next time he'll look for someone younger and more interested in a good time. Switch to the college where Yuan's secretary is showing off the chosen candidates for his project in a real beauty contest. She points out a girl from the flight attendant track who is pretty much a celebrity on campus, just like a popular new anime episode. Then, she shows a freshman who's gained fame as Little Daba because of her unique looks and modeling skills. To finish the top 3, the secretary presents a well-known cosplayer who once gained 200,000 followers with just one costume, the strength of pop culture. Among all these standout girls, a simpler dressed student feels totally out of her element, just like an NPC who's landed in the main character selection of a game. Right then, a class rep finally understands what's really going on, and his hero instincts go wild. This was not really a startup idea. It was a search for a herm. Now, feeling really foolish, he asks himself why he's even here. Is he just some side guy who exists to make the hero look better? With everyone set and ready, the secretary now waits nervously for her boss's next instruction, like the host of a survival show.